shake it, 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 shake it like a Polaroid picture. Shake it, 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 shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Hey everybody, and welcome to vAustralia, the second edition of our radio show. I'm Tim Holtz, slash Timitanium. Fuck, I said my name the wrong one. But yeah, welcome to the show. I'm joined by Callum, and yeah, so let's get cracking.
Yeah, I just want to start by saying, addressing this to Julio. How the fuck don't you know what Peep Show is?
It's a British, like, skit show, isn't it? Yeah?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're going to talk about a bit about what's been happening the last little while, etc. And, yeah. So, so we just... The battle that just finished. Yeah.
Deflating news.
Yeah. But yeah, so we just lost the battle to Serbia. That's good times.
In 3.
Okay, I've turned you up on my system, Callum, so you don't have to do anything.
Oh, thank you, because I don't think I could really do much.
Yeah.
The fact that it's working on my phone is a miracle in itself, but...
I might turn myself down, actually. I'm not sure.
I'll see if I can do something.
User settings.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. I'm turning myself down a bit. Okay, sweet.
I think I turned myself up?
Yeah, should be good. I can hear you louder, so that's good.
Okay, yeah. So...
Okay, so, basically, we just lost to Serbia. It was within 1.7k, and we could have actually probably won if I didn't fuck up my juice fights, but that's another story.
Yeah, well, so did I.
Yeah.
The thing is the fact that I didn't buy juice until 30 seconds, so the battle ended.
I double clicked on the juice button, so it used all 10 instead of 5. It fucked me up.
Oh, well. I don't think it was really gonna...
Yeah, I messed up.
In the end, I think we would have lost anyway.
And I fucked up as well, because you know when you press priority on your weapons? And then, like, if you run out of that particular weapon, it doesn't swap to the next weapon, it bare fist fights you.
Yeah, so I did the same as well, but only one side.
Yeah, that screwed me up.
P5s and then it just went from like 140 to 40. So I'm like,
yeah, so we probably could have done at least a K, and then yeah, could have been game set match.
And I'm sure we can answer any of your questions about the economy, Julia. We are quite adept when it comes to economics. Thank you.
Oh yeah, we are the best.
Yeah, I know everything to do with economics.
But yeah, so yes, the best at economics.
Why don't you say that on air, vRadio?
Yeah, so if anyone's listening that's not, basically we're responding to people's comments in the general section of the VOS Discord channel. So if anyone's randomly commenting on people, so that's what's happening there.
Yeah, we will endeavour to answer anything that's asked in that channel, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Perhaps not some of Julio's stuff.
Yeah.
That's more self-explanatory than anything.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's a dribbling moron, but that's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so interesting news from England. I'm the current president has apparently real life commitments, something to do with his job. So he is acquit immediately, and so I'm attempting to get myself as the vice president made official president in game.
That has to be some kind of record, being country president of 2 different countries in successive terms.
Yeah, it would be good, because you physically can't do it normally. You have to have, the only way you could possibly do it is with admin, because you can't, like, unless you resigned and then, like, days before and then moved over, etc. like England's actually growing. That's the thing. Like, so it's only like we've got new players coming in and all that type of stuff. The only problem is that like there's been a fairly consistent lack of like presidential activity, basically.
Yeah. It seems like every time that someone does become CP there, they resign.
Maybe I shouldn't become CP.
So, like, it's been surprising in Australia, like, we've been fairly stable in terms of leadership options as well. It's not just, like, the same person every month. It's every second month or so. I don't know if Wither's going to run another.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but
he's got a week or so to...
Yeah.
A bit more than that, maybe.
Yeah, like 10 or so days.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. How old is Lord? I'm not sure.
About 7.5. How old is he? About 14?
15, 16, I'm not sure. So, I'm sure when he's 27 he'll finish puberty.
Yeah, you're right, Drew Clue. It is a very hard question. Easily answerable. What's other news? So, the admins have changed the priorities interface.
For battles, is that the...
Yeah, battles,
yeah. I haven't actually... Because I've got... I'm vice leader of the British military. But I haven't checked it out yet, so...
Okay, well, we've got it here in Australia already.
Okay, sweet.
So, like, it's definitely... I think any kind of design changes are going to be beneficial because, as well as the game is very basic in terms of design. I think that's been one of the main criticisms. But that's obviously something that comes after. It's more about making sure the game is right. But I think it's a step in the right direction. But it's also, in a way, it doesn't mesh well. The color scheme, like the white on the.
Yeah, I actually put that in the feedback section because I'm like I literally can't even read like where that explosion bit is. Like it's a bit difficult to read the text that's there.
Yeah. Well, again, I think I've seen some of the proposed changes in the leader forums, and some of the stuff that Club's put forward has been quite nice looking. So hopefully on that.
That's just tweaking. That's really what needs to be done.
Yeah. And I think the main thing, and something I might actually announce on this radio show, is the admins really need to focus on the actual game itself rather than the external things like advertising and player base. Because they're such a small group, they need to ensure that they're getting that right so that it keeps players there, and that the players are really keeping the other players there.
In that other game which I will mention, most of the recruiting was actually done by countries trying to compete against their opponents and stuff to try and get a military advantage. So I think we've done actually surprisingly well in that regard. Because I think, especially in these type of games, we've got a bit of a chip on our shoulder. So we're like, oh, we have to fight to be as good as other countries. So we push pretty hard compared to everyone else.
I think the only shame in this game is the fact that there's no Indonesia to punish.
Conquer, yeah.
So it's not quite as
not as rewarding as of yet. But on the flip side, I would like to us in Indonesia actually being allies and conquering the war together would be pretty cool.
What do you mean by that, Julia?
How many new players joined? How many have joined? That are active, probably 30 to 40 or 50 even.
What's the time frame here?
Waiting for the... No, he's not going to respond. Freak.
But I think I honestly can't remember. I think the best, as I said a couple of days ago in the chat, the best thing that's kind of happened in this game is the fact that it's kind of gone beyond just a game, being the community being solely based on, for example, e-Republic.
Yeah.
While vPopulous is what brought most players back, it's kind of moved forward from that to more of a general gaming community.
Yeah.
That's kind of it's just kind of based around vPopulous rather than being solely reliant on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've played games with other people, and we've got a supremacy games in the background and stuff like that, and it it's a good retention tool for the game, but also like makes us friends just without just playing the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And Scotty deserves a lot of credit for that. I remember when he first came up with the VGA. I'm pretty sure it was him that came up with the VGA idea.
Yeah.
But I thought it was kind of pointless at the start.
Yeah, I was like, well, what's the point? But then, like, and even to like right now, probably like 50% of the people in the room have never even been told about Bpops so far. So,
and that's a good thing.
Yeah, which means we get like a huge amount of people that we could recruit in.
Yeah.
Once like the little bugs we think are gonna turn people off are gone, you know.
Mm. And I think it's a strategy that could be adapted by a lot of different communities, because I don't think anyone has thought that success would happen in Australia. Because no one really sees Australia as having that kind of culture, like in real life, while a lot of countries do. So having like a successful Discord community that's not based just on being populous could work for a lot of other countries as well.
Yeah, like a lot of bigger Western countries don't always find this game as appealing, just because there's not that nationalist sort of mentality in the culture. So
yeah, mostly played by either political nerds or military nerds.
Yeah.
About Indonesia, I don't think there's any playing at the moment.
I think there's one or two actually, like that are in Australia that have like said they're Indonesians or something, but they're playing in Australia until it keeps going.
That's interesting. That's something that we could probably look at and see if they could develop a bigger base. Oh, is it down?
Is it? I'm not sure. I'm preparing myself for echo.
Tim, it's you and your South Australian connection.
I think there's one or two actually, like that are in Australia. Okay, it seems to be working. Like I clicked on it. My internet is incredibly fast. Like,
speaking of NBN, I just got that installed yesterday.
Is it good?
No, it's just about the same as what we had.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's like amazing. It's pretty great.
There's a slightly better upload speed. That's about it.
Yeah, but like mine went from like 5 megabits to 100 megabits. So.
Oh wow, I'm only getting 20.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if my area is like the proper one or the fraud band. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but. I hope it is, but it's good either way, so I'm fairly happy.
I don't even know where Forest Field is, so
yeah, probably.
I'm not shocked, Julia.
I'm guessing it's in Western Australia because Julia's from there.
I presume so as well.
But yeah,
someone
so
else said something. Question. I'm just trying to find. No, I can't see it. So admissions aren't out yet, are they?
They are actually, yeah. They're just under the time. Oh, but you can't see them. I don't think you can see them on your phone. That's something I noticed when I was trying to look for it on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure about the phone compatibility as of yet.
Yeah, I dropped my laptop the other day, so it's out of commission at the moment. Question 23% active in-game. Don't really.
Also, side note: have you worked today? Because I like looked before and you had.
No, I can't.
Okay.
I need to wake.
Okay, so in 32 minutes you need to work.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff.
I promise I will.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Guagacha. I've got a couple of videos I can track him through, but I probably should get his Facebook at some point. Because we need to obviously transfer the ownership of the channel over to one of us.
Yeah.
I'm 45.
Okay, so...
Can you hear it in my deep, soothing voice?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Julio asks, what are your goals for V England? So currently my main goal is just population growth, really. I'd say probably 20 or so active people is my thing. So like that's what basically what the minimum you need for an active community, essentially 20 or so roughly active people. And
that's a realistic goal.
yeah, and once you've got that, then my secondary goal is to start training people up in ministerial roles, because ultimately I do want to come back to Australia. Like, so I'm here to like build the place up. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
They're pretty realistic goals.
yeah, that's like, and then obviously you're building ties as well to England and Australia, so that's good.
Mm.
In terms of how many actives we actually have, I think it's about 10 or so people that, like, from what I can tell at least, have been on Discord and work and train basically, and fight mostly. So there's 5 newbies that are actually English, and then there's 5 people who 4 or 5 who have moved over and like helping build the place. So like myself, Julio, Rusty, and Bryce. So those.
What's your economy like?
Still fairly small, but it's. I think we do Q2 juice, Q1 weapons, and Q1 food, I think, and then we've got like wood and grain.
Oh, okay.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
Yeah, but it's like it's obviously not, it's not a huge economy, obviously, but like it's sort of okay.
I actually have a question for one of the questioners, which is asking vRadio Seltru when he's actually going to run for Prime Minister.
We are the Republic of Australia. That is president.
Never.
Wow, President of Australia.
Yes. Oh, yes. Never. Maybe can.
Yeah. And that is school holiday, so he can get it. He can doesn't have to work then. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited about the activity levels that have happened as of late.
I think the game is starting to go upwards again, which is nice.
Yeah. So like these battles have actually been pretty good. Like Australia versus Serbia is like it's bringing all these people out of nowhere to do all this stuff. Like it's pretty good.
Yeah. With now, it's just that I think the game's only going to improve. There's also something I've been talking to Clav about starting up, which is to do with the community. I've actually brought this up with I think the Grey Wolf. It's about a community task force almost to get together like players from around the world from the game in real life, like around the world, and talk about like goals to growing communities and like guidelines and strategies and plans like that to help them get better and improve. Okay. I've got like an article written up, but it's on my Smash laptop, so I have to wait for it. It's going to get fixed hopefully tomorrow, and then I can polish that off and then send it off. And I'm also looking at doing obviously the game's not very long at the moment in terms of history, but I'm going to do a short little history thing. One part of it's going to be the global kind of history, and then one more based on Australia. That's just to give a bit of a reference point of what's happening, you know. And I can say that because I've been here since quite literally day one, so
yeah.
I've got a good idea of what's happened. The thing is, that I was Prime Minister for the first couple of months. I have an idea of the inner workings of the start of the game and how communities developed and stuff like that. So I think it would be interesting to at least cover.
And I think. Personally, I think the admin should look into like some rewards for doing wiki stuff as well, because the wiki's like I've checked it out and it's terabad. Like this, it's horrible. And I think like people like Timoan were good for that type of thing. They did like a lot of that stuff, and I think we need that sort of stuff. So then,
yeah, it's the little things, isn't it? Like just.
Yeah, so like that, like it's a good information source, so people can check up if they want to find out facts. At the moment, it's like you have to like really search to find out details from that sort of thing, like formulas and.
I think something that's actually a really good idea. Finding maybe like a player in like each country, and then maybe giving them a bit of gold to write some short bios on some of the players around. They're always like getting placed to write their own bio.
Yeah, I think that's one thing, but also like the actual general facts of the game are really badly organized on the wiki. So
Yeah. I found a couple of things, like the rules page as well is
yeah.
with grammatical errors.
And the thing is that like
syntax
probably the
problems.
admins sort of chucked it in there real quick, but then they're busy actually like coding. So
Yeah. Well I remember when the game first started, I actually had to try and I actually basically rewrote some of the terms and conditions for them for the buy and gold.
yeah,
And some of the other pages because their spelling was so bad, so I just
yeah,
myself
and
because they obviously don't have time to obviously change it.
yeah,
And obviously English isn't their first language.
yeah. Grey Wolf's the only one who's now got English as a first language. Yeah.
Yeah. And from Australia, which kind of helps us
Yeah.
anyway. So we've got a couple of questions. So question 4, who's going to get Timon back? We got Timon back. He just didn't stay.
We need to get him back from not staying.
You're more than welcome to bring him back again, vRadio. And what about a light jog? I don't know what that's in reference to.
Yeah, but do you go jogging or?
I do enjoy a light jog from time to time.
That's good. That's what I like to hear.
I enjoy walking more, but I don't mind a light jog from time to time.
So, yeah.
Most people.
And Callum, are you ever going to run for president again?
Maybe in the future.
Yeah,
Not
in
the next
the
couple
not
of
yeah no. I was thinking that I'm like I like to be honest with you. I was like, oh, I'll get to go to England. I'll get to relax. And then like the minute I set foot there, like, oh, vice president. I'm like, and now I'm president again. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I can't escape.
because obviously because I've never been the most active player. I think
Yeah.
no, that's not going to shock anyone by saying that.
Yeah.
But so I did get quite a bit of shtick by the end of my reign.
Yeah.
Terror. So like I would be happy to run again, but probably not. Maybe February. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no intent. I'm happy to probably get a bit more involved in government because I've just finished uni, and I've still waiting to get my hours picked up. So I've got a few hours at the moment just to.
Like,
So
I think personally, I think it's good that we have a lot of different people that can put their hand up to run as well. Like, we don't have to worry about.
yeah, there's a lot of.
Oh god, TJ Norton, please no. TJ Norton, oh no.
Look, I would like TJ back.
Yeah, I mean when he's not in his like bad side of his bipolar, he's pretty good.
I think he's like when he's on his game, he's probably the best, most astute political player there is. But yeah, if he would come back is another question as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the thing is when he's on form, he does have a good way of playing the political game. You have to give him props for it.
He's very good at campaigning.
Yeah, he's got that sort of
presenting a picture, an idea, like just the way, like when he was running himself, it was probably the most exciting time
Yeah.
I had in a while because just the way he projected himself and the way that he presented himself and his ideas. So
Yeah, you have to give him
wouldn't
props for
mind me,
that.
TJ.
But and obviously there's moments where he goes into like full paranoia mode. That's where that's not so good.
I wouldn't mind getting bored coming back either.
Yeah.
I want to see. I keep saying this, but something I'd like to see is party politics becoming a thing here.
Yeah, definitely. But I think if we get to like 60 or so, then you're in that position where you can actually do it. Like I think basically, I think the main thing is that you have more people wanting to run for Congress than there are positions available. That's the ultimate thing.
Yeah, and I think something the admin could do is because how many regions do each country have? Again?
Well, it depends on.
Like most have like 20.
20 or so. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, essentially, and 2 can run from there. So you've got way too many people that can run.
That's fine because the game's got plenty of room to expand. Like honestly, I'm looking forward to eventually when the game's running fairly smoothly and we can start like checking out different like systems of democracy, like parliamentary systems and like upper and lower houses and stuff. That's where it starts getting cool because
I think the main point is that the game is still quite small. There's not a lot of seriousness yet.
Yeah.
It's more about trying to push the game into just being active in general.
Yeah.
The thing with VREP was that you already knew it was going to be active, and that if you put some time into it, you knew you would get some reward back.
Mm.
And there isn't so much of that at the moment because it is still quite a new game, and it did go through a bit of a rough patch.
Yeah. And I think what people forget is like, they're like, the game's 190 days in. I started eRep, and I'm one of the older players. I started eRep when it was on day 450. So, yeah. So, there's it's not like, and I wasn't a super strong player in eRep, but eventually I was up there, you know.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. It's more about like time, and when you've got a big community as well. That helps.
Yeah, and I think as well, this game's a lot more skewed towards once you get to a certain, like after 3 weeks, you're in the range of everyone, even the biggest players. Like over time,
you hit hard if you use money as well. When you're at that level, you can kind of be level, but you'll never quite be level. Which is why I like the fact gold a month. Yeah,
the gold restriction, and also that's an economic thing as well, because like. The economy of eRep was so ruined by people just buying gold.
Oh yeah. Like I log on now and like it's still crap.
Yeah, the game's dead basically.
Except for Joya's question, we are taking questions as well. So if you've got something you want,
okay. So there
questions.
is a question from Julio. Is there any progress on turning the England into the United Kingdom? So I have queried, and it is in progress currently. So there was sort of questions around how would it happen, and so I sort of discussed with Four about like he wanted to talk about like the regions that are wastelands currently that would become part of the United Kingdom. Like would they just become cores of the United Kingdom, or what's like how exactly would it happen? And we had a discussion on that, and so I think we're fairly like on board with the idea of them just becoming English cores, and then they just instead of wastelands they just English cores now. Like that's the basic consensus of how it's going to happen, because there was a discussion on like is it going to be this or that or whatever. So yeah, so but it's in progress still. So
onto a kind of another topic really is we should try get Finn actually playing this game instead of just idling in the
yeah, definitely.
Discord channel.
We need to like start getting all the old players back to we haven't seen for years. Like, and the thing is, every time we get one person, they've got their list of contacts as well, and maybe they'll have one person that's different from the other one.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the players like older and new. So like a lot of the like old players like wouldn't know who, for example, like Showtime. Even people like Sty and even no, I wouldn't say Aussie player because he's pretty old now, or Scotty. But like there's a lot of people that came from like the V1 and wouldn't know the people from like V3 or whatever. So it makes for an interesting dynamic as well.
But yeah, so
I'd say, for example, most people wouldn't know that how big a player Getting Bored was.
Yeah.
A couple of years back in the AMP.
Yeah, pretty big badass.
Yeah. V'Australia, why don't you come and talk to us? Just because Tim smells.
Nah,
is that why?
it's Callum smells, that's why.
I can't help that.
It's a manly musk.
Yes. Oh well, I try.
Yeah. Doing money stuff. Lies and slander. V'Australia, you live for money. You've always got money stuff done already because you're the Minister of Finance.
Yeah, stop talking shit. I just sent you like 18. What money troubles could you possibly be having?
Oh, here we go. Oh, I'm managing the country's economy. Don't disturb me. Well.
Oh yeah, big man. You only have 6 fucking months to do it. You're gonna have your shit and get it.
I like how this radio toes essentially turned into us just slagging off V'Australia.
Well, that's how it should be. That's just the natural quality of shit. Like, it's just how it goes. Just take it, vRadio, or come online.
He's in there. He's just muted, so all he has to do is just unmute himself, and then he can talk to us.
That's all he has to do. Just one little click, and I'm sure he can do his little economy stuff as well. I'm watching Peep Show while talking as well. So, I was going to say something, but that might be because I was watching Peep Show that distracted me. Yeah, if anyone else wants to hop on voice and wants to,
so
welcome.
the vRadio thing is locked. So only like a certain level of privileges can access it. But if you go into general voice, we can bring you in.
Oh, something I did want to do when I get my laptop back, and I cannot wait, is changing all your stupid roles.
Never.
All of your stupid roles.
Okay, to be honest with you, I don't like the Yank one. That should be Seppo or something.
Useless Yanks, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, just useless Yanks. Angry Aussies. I don't like that either. Because you got rid of like the allied military thing that like ruined the did it ruin the permissions in the military chat?
Where's this?
It did.
What's happening?
In the military chat, like allied military.
Yeah, that's still a thing. So
the ADF.
yeah, so
Only the posh Pom Julio can.
yeah, but that's because he's got allied military. Like so allied military, like so these like Yank and Jap and all this other stuff, they don't actually have any privileges whatsoever. They just do like a tag so we know what country people are from.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's just I just hate clutter. I hate clutter.
Yeah, so do I. I mean,
nice and neat.
to be fair, I like it that it's down the bottom at least. Like it's not up the top. Like remember when we were testing out all the cabinet roles and they all had their own thing. That pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad that someone else agreed with me with that. That was something I campaigned for much more than their nationality apartheid.
Yeah. Like nice. But yeah, for the most part, it's okay because it's under the main ones. So like it's just down the bottom, so it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just a stickler, and I like to wave my authority around whenever I can. What else do we have to? Yeah, that is true, Grey Wolf, and I'm not going to add any context to that. vRadio, we have the same level, okay. Any questions you might have?
I like how you just like must dick wave about my admin powers.
Maybe if you join on the first day, you get powers.
To be fair, like I literally got the mail and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be alone in this game again." Nah. And then that's the game that actually sticks around with everyone rocking up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was very reluctant to bring vRadio along, but I thought I may as well have two people there instead of one.
Yeah. And then look at us now, conquering the world.
Oh god. I know, my decision entirely. But what else do we have to talk about, Tim?
We now have Sty is in general voice, so you can bring him in if you want. Actually, yeah, okay, yeah.
I can't do it on my phone.
Move to.
I can't even change people's roles on my phone, which is really.
Ah, there we go. He's in.
Maybe you can, but.
Welcome. Have you got a microphone plugged in and whatnot? I'm not sure. Okay, we'll give him a bit of time to set up his microphone and whatnot. But anyway, let's continue and then.
Click people's fucking names on this phone.
Yeah, I know it's terrible, isn't it? I tried to when that player joined like earlier today. I was on my phone. I'm like trying to figure out a way to add roles and stuff, and there was no way whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. It's impossible, isn't it? And I can't.
Yeah, and I'm like, surely this is more like it has better like interface to do how to do that type of stuff.
I can't even click people's names at the moment, which is very nice. Oh, what radio silence? How dare you?
Requesting radio silence. But yeah, so
I still think this is better than Resolve's one, which had like minutes of dead air.
Yeah, that was terrible.
There's no dead air in this one. We're just talking shit. But
yeah, like if it literally like there's 10 seconds, we're like, oh shit, we better slag someone off quickly.
Yeah. Well, it's quite fun. There's so many people to slag up.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
We've got, yeah,
There we go.
We're rich and...
Yeah, Sty has fixed his microphone.
Hello, everyone.
Mr. Cigarette himself.
I'm actually having one right now.
Oh man, I stopped smoking a couple of weeks ago. It's very depressing.
I don't smoke tobacco. That's silly.
Smoking tobacco is good for you. Whoa.
Who am I? I am Stuyvesant, much like Cher. That's just one name.
You might
I'm going way back to EREP.
Are you on your phone, by the way?
I'm not on my phone.
Okay. What's your microphone like? Is it fully plugged in or something? Because it's got a bit of crackle on it. So.
It should be.
Like, is it like maybe it's time to be loose? I'm not 100% sure like what's happening there. Because it sounds quite crackly. I mean, we'll power through, but like if you could get it like a bit better, that'd be cool.
Alright, I'll see what I can do.
No, we'll power through if you can't do anything about it. That's fine.
But tell us more about yourself this time if you can.
If it's annoying, let me fix it first because I hate the crackling.
Alright, yeah.
What should I be looking at in terms of voice settings?
I'm not sure it's actually voice settings itself. It might be in the microphone, like externally plugged in or something. Like maybe if you plug it in again or something. I'm not 100% sure.
I got a $400 headset, dude.
Okay, that's bad then. Yeah, that's not good at all.
Yeah, maybe you should return it.
You sound like a robot, but a nice one.
Alright, I'll leave it then.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun. We'll power through. Yeah. So, you haven't played V-pop before, have you? This is the first time playing V-pop?
Yeah, first time I came back. Well, what was it called before? Was it V-pop before?
Yeah, but like obviously, like this is the first. Is this the first V-pop you've played since EREP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much. I played that the initial release, and then they closed it, did they? And
yeah, there's been 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 versions of V-pop. So.
But I mentioned earlier, there is something that V-pop is just not doing for me.
Yeah, I think the graphics is what it is.
One this time, that's what.
Oh, like the prehistoric, like the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is based on the original EREP.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say straight off the top, like it's not clicking with me. I'm not. Yeah.
You'll learn to love it.
Yeah, I think the problem is that
It's an acquired
they don't have a front end developer, so like the graphics aren't like EREP standard. Like that's what EREP had. They had like really bad coders to like do the background stuff, but they were really good at like doing all the fancy icons and all that type of stuff, so that like it looked good. And then everyone sort of put up with the fact that the coders were shit.
Yeah, that's true. It's sort of like polishing a turd.
Yeah.
that
That is
is
EREP in a nutshell.
I don't know. There was just like a. I don't know. It was smooth. It was
I think
layout and the mechanics of it. Yeah, simple, but I don't know. It just worked.
I think the best thing that this game can is very interface. Because I think having to like click fight and then reloading every time gets very grating.
Yeah, there's
Doing
little
it kind of like in sync.
yeah, there's tiny little things that
Yeah.
that
I think,
like yeah.
like it needs a bit of a facelift and a bit of just a smoother interface, but that comes with time when
Yeah, they have to get someone because like I think they're not mainly front end people, like they're mainly doing like the code in the background and sort of people. So that's where the graphics themselves are a bit chunky.
Yeah, well that's why Cloud's doing it.
Yeah.
Cloud's try as hard, but they're not obviously perfect.
Yeah. And I think like they they'll do it probably in stages. Like, for example, these new missions have got like the wackest pictures ever. And like, yeah.
I think some of the changes that they've actually proposed have been pretty good.
Yeah,
it's
like,
just more about implementing them and seeing how they go.
yeah, like the missions.
What annoys me, and sorry to interject.
No,
but,
no problem.
The battle screen, the fight button is below the two sort of avatars and the timer,
Yeah.
and that thing loads up like almost like last. But then you go to click on like heal, but you press like HP plus 10 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the other night in the battle, or what was the one after the first race battle?
Do you mean the one they attacked us?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the same as this one, Crete. So we've had 2 battles in Thrace and 2 battles in Crete now.
Okay. Well, the one before this one anyway. So I was battling, and like there's only 2 minutes left, and I had probably about like 7 hits to do. I was on my phone. But it just took so long for the screen to load and for everything to work that like I didn't even get all my hits in, even though we luckily won.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's a bit of a pain. It's just little things like that. Like if they could like fix the interface of that, and just some of the other smaller things like setting priority and it actually just going to the next highest queue or something like that would be nice.
Yeah, that's one thing that definitely annoyed me. But I think as well, like, I think part of the problem is that, like, for example, when I go into, well, I have a problem. Okay, I'm gonna go VPop Studio. Who's online? Okay, Cloud's online. I'm gonna talk to him. Like, theoretically, I probably shouldn't do that. I should go to like 4 or someone else, like one of the people designed to talk to people. But I sort of, like, I'm impatient, so I sort of talk to Club, and
yeah, well,
the more if everyone does, yeah, if everyone does that, then Club's not gonna have time to actually do his stuff. You know what I mean?
I think like, and this isn't to take anything away from any of them, Club or the Grey Wolf or Dano and stuff like that. They probably need a better like command structure of the game, and not have everything so reliant on Club, because Club is known to go missing for periods.
Yeah.
So it'd be better if he had like a bit of command, so everyone knew their defined role and what they could actually do themselves, and that's not just reliant on
you, isn't it, Callum?
Sorry?
It's all about structure.
What you don't know is he's wearing a uniform right now. That's what you don't know.
You know me, I've always been into that kind of shit, but
That's the first thing that you always done, man. Whenever you took party leadership, you're like, alright, this is the new rules. Putting
yeah,
too much red tape, too much, like, let the flow sort of
I like the
happen.
flow, but I like it.
Callum's motto is, it'll flow the way that the red tape wants it to flow.
Mr. Red Tape himself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. You're Mr. Red Tape.
No, that's Xavier Griffith. He's Mr. Red Tape.
So
Yes,
who have we got from the old guard, as we say?
Yeah.
Huh?
Who's come back?
We've got our Sir Constance playing.
What?
Aussie bloke.
So Constant.
Yeah.
He's getting bored.
Yeah, Getting Bored is his name now.
Dude, I haven't seen that guy since he stole all that money from Australia.
Oh, that was years ago.
Infin lurks in his channel, and someone that came back yesterday. Do you remember Mikhail Alexander stuff?
Yeah.
Quickly.
The world is Carmen San Diego.
Quickly!
That dude was like CP of every single country.
Oh, well,
Rowan,
yeah, I was
quickly.
gonna say that. Yeah, Rowan.
Rowan, quickly!
Wait, we are talking about the same person, right?
Yeah, Mikhail Alexander's Rowan Quickly, isn't he? I'm pretty sure that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a later variation of his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every week he's in a different country. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that was him, yeah.
And you've also got vRadio Sultry, that's right. Henry doesn't want to play. Laney Lost is playing now.
Yeah. We haven't got Ronnie
What's wrong
Jr.
with
Jr.
Henry?
I think he's like not comprehending the fact that we're all here. Like, he's like, why do you come to ERAP? And we're like, no, ERAP shit.
I think I kind of we tried to talk short the other day about like the fact that we're all here.
Yeah.
That we didn't destroy the community. In fact, it's kind of like just moved.
Yeah.
Henry's spent too much money on that game.
Oh yeah.
Sunk cost fallacy. That's what's happening.
Yeah, he probably looks at his account and goes, "Nah, I can't let this go."
We tried to talk to try and find Crusader Cup.
Yeah.
Who else is still around? Arfman's back.
Who?
Oh, you surely remember Arfman.
Yeah. He had a picture of that. What's that animal? Aardvark. Yeah, Aardvark or whatever that creature
Oh
is.
yes, I do remember.
Can't even look at on who's online at the moment. My phone's fucking up. Hold on.
It doesn't matter. We got Binder, we got Menja.
It does to me.
Venger's like acting president of the United States. I'm acting president. Ah, okay. Callum's gone. Ah, he's back.
I died. I
Okay.
turned my Wi-Fi off stupidly.
Okay, that was a bit silly. But
yeah, okay, there we go. It's working now, so it's fine.
So, can somebody fill me in, because I am basically, two-clicker or whatever. Why does Serbia hate us?
Oh well, we're basically just making the game fun again.
so we're having a big war.
We don't actually hate them in any kind of way. In fact, we can't. We have like a begrudging respect for them. For the
Yeah,
fact
and
that
they got the
they're
same for
playing
us.
games. Yeah.
Oh, I kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're fighting hard against each other, but that's because we're the only two big countries left. So we're just trying to provide a bit of.
Yeah, we're
entertainment.
the two biggest ones, so we're like, and so the world's sort of coalescing around our sides. So like, Macedonia and stuff, they're like on Serbia's
The
team.
traitors.
Yeah. And then we've got like, United States and England are sort of, and Japan are like coalescing around Australia.
Hmm. Well, Pacifico is basically dead.
Yeah.
Rizola left.
Yep.
So it's kind of a free for all at the moment. There's no there was a set structure in terms of alliances, but now it's just kind of a free for all.
Yeah, it's sort of become two countries with everyone sort of has a sort of side, I guess, but it's not formal.
Yeah, I don't think anyone particularly hates each other at the moment. I don't like Macedonia and I don't like Portugal, but that's just because of past history, not because of any particular grievances.
Yeah, and I think Italy doesn't like us, but that's just because we're owning all their
Yeah,
regions.
because we did kind of invade them. But
Yeah. I gave them the most fair fucking deal that ever happened. And they're like, no. I'm like, what? What do you mean we're winning a war against you? You don't get to just say no.
Yeah. So I think that's why I'm kind of I do want to write that history thing, just so people can kind of catch up on shit that's happened.
Yeah, like get an idea of how the world's been going.
Yeah. For people like Star.
Oh, look, well, I don't know that the war was pretty much sort of like a glorified training war of sorts.
Yeah, it's like a
It
go hard,
really is.
go hard sort of thing, basically.
But I've spent a lot of gold on it though, so for me it's a bit more than that.
Alright, let me ask another question, if I may.
Sure.
You may.
Thank you very much for both of your confirmations.
You are entitled to ask a question, yes.
This one's.
Alright, well, I better make it good. What is the next major, and I mean major, update that the devs are looking to get into the game?
The main thing is missions. The missions.
So that just came out. But I think they're gonna do that more. But there was a big thing about that countries that haven't been added to the game yet, their capital gets added and they can't go to war. So like people can still sign up for the country, and then when you get a certain amount of people, then it becomes a real country. So like what happens currently is like someone from like Germany or something, they'll try to sign up and there is no Germany, and they'll go, oh, that's shit, I'm leaving. So they're trying to fix that by like having like almost like a little state that exists, and it can do economy and stuff, but it can't do wars and stuff. So people still sign up for the game.
Essentially glorified Singapore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems a bit weird because obviously the citizens can still fight for their allies, right? You
Yeah, I think they
stop
can.
anybody,
They can MPP up and then
MPs and stuff, yeah.
yeah,
but you can't actually touch.
yeah. No one can conquer
They
them.
can't touch people and they can't touch them.
Yeah.
People can't touch them and they can't touch them.
How's that going to balance out? It doesn't sound fair.
I mean, the thing is that it's only for countries that have a very few number of people. So once you get to a certain number of people, then the country is big enough to be made a proper country.
It's about giving them some like in-game control before like becoming a full proper country, because a lot of countries go like they'll have like a mass of like 20 people that really want a country, but they haven't quite met the threshold, and then after a week they get bored with the fact they're not a country and just leave. So it's kind of a way of mitigating that.
Yeah, like so people will sign up and they see the nation and they will actually join it rather than going, oh, my nation's not here, I'm quitting.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, but the main thing at the moment, in terms of they're making a few interface changes, so they're trying to make it a bit more friendly looking. I'm guessing before they start working on other parts of the game. But the main thing at the moment is missions, because we didn't have any missions before, like, basically yesterday. So they're struggling with a while for the interface and how to get it to like actually work. So now that they've got that worked out, they can start pumping them out whenever now, just to give people something to do every day in the game.
Yeah,
definitely.
because I mean,
Was that a satisfactory answer for you, Star?
Nah, not really. But
devastating.
We're not exactly spokesmen for the game. We just enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah. We
well,
just.
you guys sure fucking act like it.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well,
I am the official spokesman.
Welcome to vRadio, the authority on Bebop.
I am more informed than the admins.
But you
we
guys
know what the admins
obviously,
are going to do before they do.
you guys obviously sort of in contact with the devs.
Yeah, I mean, I have chats with them fairly often, just because, I mean, it's good that the presidents get to do that sort of thing. They sort of, because they're like almost like a spokesman for their nation, because they're elected by them, so like they can bring concerns to the admins and they'll help out and stuff. So
Yeah, a good thing that the admins have done is in Discord on the VPop channel, Discord, they created this area called the VPop leaders. So basically, like, community leaders and the CPs each month get added to a group where they can talk to the developers and the like admins and stuff like that, and discuss like stuff that's happening that's not working properly, and like try and get shit fixed up when there's like a dispute and stuff like that.
like, as opposed to like EREP when the admins were like, just like, no, fuck you, I'm not gonna bother talking to you.
I think Iraq had the same thing, but it was only for diamond members.
Yeah, yeah, it's like once you spend 5,000 USD, then you are entitled to have a chat with the admin.
Yeah, you may have a 5-minute chat with one
Yeah.
of the.
I love that game. Like, if you spend a couple of bucks, they just let you get away with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Like, I remember I like littered the game in just profanity, and but because I spent like $100 or something like that a month before, they're just like, oh, we'll let us slide. I didn't even get one from this one.
Yeah, I remember someone actually multied and they only got a temp ban just because they were a diamond player.
And when did that game start going to shit? I mean, it was alright when I joined in like 09.
Yeah, that was 09 was the end of V1, and then they started adding V2 and
V2 wasn't that money. Like, it was a bit money. It was a way to monetize it a bit more, but it wasn't.
it was just a bad interface and war and stuff. That was the main problem with V2.
I love the war. That was my favorite part, the war module. The Nighthawks during that time was fucking awesome.
Here's the thing. Here's a problem with the wars in this game. Actually, I'm not sure if it's like this in Bebop, but EREP, so you fight, you spend all this money, all this gold, right? And then all of a sudden, the battle ends and they just re-attack it, and then take it. I thought that there would be like a cooling off, kind of like, here you have like 3 days, like you hold the region.
Yeah, there's a 24-hour thing in this. If you defend a region, then you've got initiative for 24 hours, so they can't hit you again. And that gives you an opportunity to go on the offensive.
There you go, that's a freaking major improvement.
Yeah, the thing is, that used to be in the game. Then they got rid of it, yeah.
Yeah, so the whole goal was like, okay, we need constant wars, we need constant buying of gold.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think
Such a shame.
vRadio has demuted.
Has he?
Yep.
Yes, I have. I thought I would come and join you, but I was waiting till you finished.
So welcome to radio.
Oh, here we go.
Now what are you going to complain about?
Nothing.
So
Sip my gin and
how's your economizing on the economy, vRadio?
I always want more money
Yeah.
for the country and me. No, but we're doing pretty well. I haven't looked too closely at all the other nations, but I do genuinely think we're in the strongest financial position in the world.
yeah. Is now currency like the principal like currency in the game?
I don't think so. I think that still is US dollars,
Oh, is it?
just because there's still more people.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I've seen a lot of Europeans trading in AUD at the moment, like trying to switch over their gold.
In terms of probably economic activity, I think we've got the AED is one of the strongest in terms of how much it's used.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to limit how much people use the money market just to try to make money off us, because that screws up our
Gold intake.
the gold coming into the government.
So I want to ask you a question, Viato.
Mm-hmm.
How much worse off are we money-wise than we were when the game started? How much have we lost altogether?
Hang on, let me just go have a quick.
And why was it all Tim's fault?
I think I'm pretty sure I made massive budget surpluses when I was doing it, which is unusual for a left-wing leader.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had our best surpluses when Tim was CP, to be honest.
Well, that's
in
just
terms
that's
of
just.
gold, just remind me, we started with 1,000 gold at the start of the game.
Yep.
We currently have 999.48 gold sitting in the national log.
Fuck, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then there's obviously a few companies, there's a bit on the exchange, and we have been spending like crazy. In terms of Australian dollars, yeah, that we started with 40,000 or so.
How much do we have now?
Probably about 18 or so.
And how much we?
It's still relatively
What
good.
do we do?
Yeah.
How much do we print out? I can't remember how much we printed.
We probably printed 20, 30, 40,000 so
Okay.
far.
So the grand total of AUD in the game is about 80k.
Hopefully less than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You'd be probably another 10k less just because all the food that goes missing and then players dying and stuff. So.
Yeah, there'd be a whole lot in various debt accounts and
Yeah.
inactive accounts.
And how much of that does the ADF take up?
All of it, nice.
Good question. This month, a heck of a lot more than last month. They do make up the lion's share of what we spend our money on.
Oh, for a good
Closing
cause.
Cuts.
Oh, so
Everybody
constantly be
gets one
proud.
stick to fight with. And some moldy.
I feel like we wouldn't be able to take it to Serbia quite so well if we had massive cuts in the ADF.
Yeah.
Well, just imagine how much gold and currency they have left.
I think
Yeah, in
they're
the
actually
round, basically.
they're actually struggling. I think they're definitely running out their surpluses and they're running a deficit probably. I'd imagine doing all that damage.
I would sure hope so.
Yeah, we're stuffed if they're not.
So where do you buy the weapons just from the market?
Yeah, so we've got a variety of companies in Australia and around the world building weapons for us.
Can you name some of these people?
So what? I think Grey Wolf has some. Showtime has some. Tim, you've got one over in England.
Yeah.
Does it export to Australia?
It doesn't export, but I usually buy them up and sell them
Yeah.
on the marketplace. So
I've got a couple. Who else? There's a few people. It's actually quite well spread around. It's not just the one person.
yeah, we don't have. Thankfully we don't have much of a monopoly when it comes to queuing weapons. So it's quite.
Well, that's why we did much better than they went communes, and we didn't. Well, we did kind of have a few communes, but we were never as serious about it as the US were.
Yeah, we sort of. I think we had one or two, and then we sort of phased them out almost.
Well, and very early on, I set up a lot of the early companies, and I just sold at cost price until we had some competition.
Yeah.
Now that there's other people in there as well, yeah, I run my companies to make money, but although at the moment I'm selling pretty close to cost price to the ADF, so we can keep taking it to the Serbs.
How much profit is there to be made from actually selling weapons? Because there's
A lot.
Yeah, quite a bit. Especially if you're not really caring about who you sold to. Like, if I was to offer my Q5s at the moment onto like just the global market, I could probably make a killing. But that's basically all just being set aside for ADF use.
Yeah, so we can drop down 90k like we did just then.
Yeah.
how much is a Q5 company?
To set it up from scratch, 390 gold.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a couple of months worth of gold buying. Unless
is
you've
it-
got a
Is the government gonna sort of open up its own manufacturing, or is it just gonna continue buying from the market?
At this point, I'm very much keen just to have the market providing things like that. It's a big part of what people like these games for, is being able to have their own economy. So
Yeah.
especially while the game is smaller, if the government was to step in and do all of that, you're taking probably a third of the enjoyment out, given the political side isn't particularly strong either. You're just leaving people with military.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think it's more down, a bit quieter in game. We have to be better. The government has to be better at procuring weapons, or people need to be better at stockpiling.
Yeah. I think
Because
That's-
that's the main
yeah.
problem. That's why there's so many shortages at the moment. People are just kind of either wasting high quality weapons on like useless fights, or there's just not enough being produced, or like enough overseas companies are buying them, or we're not buying enough from overseas companies.
It's something I've
Yeah.
mentioned to Clav a few times and to many other people. Production of weapons, given the amount that can be used due to the 2 hospital fights, juice, hotels, houses, extra food, everything else, the production of weapons actually just isn't quite high enough.
Yeah, so basically because weapons are the most valuable thing, the entire economy gets sucked into producing weapons, so you actually get a massive shortages of everything else.
Yeah, so we've shut down food production in Australia at this point to
Supplement the war
produce
economy.
weapons.
Yeah. Because we need to face the war, so
Wait, so weapon production you said is quite low?
Well, no, it's basically as high as we can make it. It's just for the amount of workers. I worked it out a while ago to just cover the hospital fights of the workers required to make Q1 weapons and the iron for them. You need 3 workers at about skill 5.5. That's just Q1 weapons, just hospital fights. The moment you add in juice and hotels, you need more workers.
So there's a shortage of weapons, like in general. Then.
Yeah.
So why aren't they super expensive? They don't seem that expensive.
Because our business owners are actually all pretty decent and we're not trying to gouge all the Australians.
yeah, we've
I
got
thought it's just basic economics.
yeah. We're actually pretty lucky in the fact that we've got a very team-based atmosphere of capitalism, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I do actually, as much as it pains me, give vRadio a bit of credit for the Australian Chamber of Commerce, which has kind of worked in unison to make sure that prices aren't like gouging like just normal workers that can't afford to do shit.
You can't really control it, can you? The market.
We can't, like, through any in-game mechanism, but just because we all... So we've got the Chamber of Commerce, all Australian, and I think now even a few foreign business owners are in there, where we talk about what Australia needs, where do we have shortages, where do we have surpluses, what's actually being harmful to the economy, things like that. And
yeah,
while we want to make money for ourselves as business owners, we actually also want to make sure that, one, we don't kill the country by just profiting crazily.
Yeah.
But would you kill it? Because that money would just go somewhere else, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would go and sit in our companies.
Yeah, the problem is that if you try to reap all the profits from your company, like, you'll have a lot of money, but you can only do a certain amount of fights, and
Yeah.
if everyone else doesn't have the money to be able to do all that stuff, then you're actually decreasing the damage output of the country when it comes to war.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so like, you basically,
Trickle-down economy.
yeah.
Pretty much that's what we do actually have in Australia, is a bit of a trickle-down economy.
But because we're not like arseholes, it actually sort of works. Like,
However, the thing is, you can buy capital in real life.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, thankfully there is a somewhat way to, like, actually compete. Like, you can start up a company that's fairly rare and actually start making profits, whereas like, it's not, the market doesn't kick you out, basically. And because everyone's sort of friendly, they're like, oh, okay, do this, do this, do this, and then you'll be successful, and you follow it, and you actually are. So, like, new players have asked, what company could I set up if I wanted to, and we'd like, we don't have much food or tickets or whatever, you know, and someone starts it up, and then they're actually profitable there. Yeah, so that's
But the labour force, which will be basically the number of active citizens in Australia.
Yeah.
I haven't seen. Is there a lot of like jobs, like vacancies?
There's always people with job offers up. Like, everyone wants more, but we had a problem a while ago where we were over competing for the workers, and we had massive inflation going on, like every couple of days or every day even. The price of weapons and food was going up quite substantially. Wages just kept going up, and actually we just came together as a Chamber of Commerce and said, you know what, actually this is making it really hard from a perspective of, if you're needing to spend your gold, turn it into Australian dollars to then buy weapons, you're having to spend more and more of that gold to buy products. So it's just an unofficial deal. Once again, there's no in-game mechanism, but we all came together and we've got an agreement on how we'll do wages.
Yeah, so we lowered prices and lowered wages, so, like, no one lost out, but it stopped this like over-competitive nature that stuffed up profits.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't actually so much stuffing up profits, it was stuffing up people that weren't business owners that needed to pour more and more gold into Australian dollars to actually buy extra weapons.
Yeah, because
that's where the ADF could come in, couldn't it?
Yeah, but, like, basically the ADF sort of runs in a manner where if there's a battle priority, then it'll supply, but if it's just a training war or whatever, then they don't supply.
Self-supply.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself.
How does it work at any given stage? Like, for example, we start a war with, now Serbia. How does it go in terms of priority where you buy your weapons? Do you buy equally across? Like,
I think it's more with Q1 weapons. They're quite easy to bought. There's a lot of Q1 weapons, while with things like Q3s and Q5s there aren't a lot of. So you'll see a lot of players using Q1s, or sometimes even ADF supplying Q1s for, like, important training wars, or like battles, training wars that they want them to get involved in. But most of the time you won't actually see.
So
does the ADF just buy it from one company, or do they buy?
Oh no, they buy from all over.
yeah,
Wherever they get the cheapest ones from, I suppose.
yeah. So basically, what happens, for example, when I request weapons, because I'm, like, a fairly strong player and all that type of stuff, I don't get, like, a whole slew of high quality weapons. I'll get, like, 3.
We don't have enough.
Yeah, we don't have enough. So we sort of distribute it. So we get, like, okay, so I'll give you, like, 3 Q3s or something, and then the rest is Q1s. So So yeah, so because otherwise, like, we'd run out of weapons real quick. Yeah.
How much?
But
has
in terms of how they buy it, yeah, Q1. I think I don't actually do the buying, but I assume it's whoever is the cheapest at the time. Although all the Q1 companies tend to be pretty similar. And then I think in Australia we've only got the one Q3 weapon company, and I know we've only got the one Q5. So they are then the only suppliers.
And then Wither's got Q4s
Yeah, true.
but they're stationed in the US, and then he uses them for he sells to Australia and whatnot. So
should there be kind of almost like a... Well, if you're going to buy weapons, for example, for the war, and you see that there's Q1 for $2, and then there's another one for like $2.20, do you buy some of the $2.20 as well, or do you just buy the $2?
I guess it depends on the nationality of the customers. If the company is like, say, like the $2 one's like Portuguese, while the $2.20 one's Australian, I'd probably buy the $2.20 one.
yeah, and I think as well, like, we'll buy out all the 2, and then if we need more, we'll buy out the 220 sort of thing. So
What about multiple Australian suppliers with different prices?
Then it just really matters on the cheapness of it.
yeah, the quantity is as well. Like,
Yeah, the quantity.
yeah. So if we've decided that, oh, okay, we need 500 weapons or something, and then there's 300 in the cheapest one, we'll just buy all the 300, and then we'll start looking at the next cheapest, and that'll have 100, and we'll buy them out, and then the next one has 50, they'll buy that out. So like, we just keep buying at the lowest price until we've got enough weapons, basically.
Like I was saying earlier, there's not enough weapons produced to have basically somebody miss out.
That's what I was getting at, because I'm like, doesn't the guy kind of like miss out on a sale if he's got like 10 cents higher?
Yeah, but basically there's weapons are consistently getting sold out because everyone's trying to gobble them up and use them as much as possible. So there's the demand for weapons is much higher than the supply of weapons. So
And what's been done to sort of fix that?
There's nothing you can really do.
unfortunately, because of all these extra ways to fight, their production can't keep up with demand. So
Especially during like times like this when we're...
yeah, we're going crazy, just giving everyone every possible weapon and using juice, like flippantly, just giving out juices to everyone because we need to do as much damage as possible. So weapons, like, usually we don't sell out weapons, but I think currently there's not a single weapon on the market anymore because we've
I just put 17 on there from the company I've got going in Portugal.
Okay, so we've got 17 weapons on the market. Yeah.
I was just having a look to see what we had, and I saw that we're out. Yeah.
And how much do we keep in stock?
None.
Yeah, no, not none, but we do have some.
Philippines are listening.
Yeah, we have unlimited weapons. We have no shortages whatsoever. But yeah, I think there are definitely still weapons in there, but I don't think it's as much as we
would like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Weapons.
So I think actually let me check out the Serbian market. Hopefully they've got none as well.
Well, they've got no money, so I don't know how they just their credit card worried.
Let's have a squeeze. Oh, they still have a few weapons, but they're a lot less than they used to have.
Oh, fuck, they opened a front with us. Didn't even notice.
What's that? Oh, they started a battle on Crete, yeah.
Oh, Crete again, yeah. Hopefully they lose that again.
There needs to be something within the game itself where these sort of shortages of these supplies can be kind of almost like AI'd, but I'm not sure how that would work.
They'll be kind of like what Europe did, where they kind of like...
They would.
Manager.
Yeah.
Well, if we're suffering shortages, it means that everyone else is suffering shortages. It's not just us that are being hurt here. So I think the fact that everyone's struggling means that when the wartime is down, it's just going to be whoever can ration. But I think that's the main thing. When populations increases, it means we've got more workers that can create more weapons.
but if there's such a shortage, then what's to prevent it?
better, and you can do that better. And when the game increases,
Buying up practically all the weapons and leaving the other side with none.
I mean, there's not, but it's just the cost of actually
I'll be back
doing
in a
it.
sec.
So
That's why you keep some in stock.
yeah, well, I mean that's what we do. Like
Yeah, so we do
yeah.
always keep weapons in stock. It's just at the moment we're burning through them about as quickly as we produce them.
So basically, we're in a war economy essentially, where whatever we build it gets sent to the front immediately.
How much has the war cost so far?
Including the declaration and opening of battles and everything.
Yeah, any
So far only 120 gold and 15,000 Australian dollars.
that's about 20k, is it?
If we look at the 15,000, because we can print it, I tend to work everything in gold, in the cost for gold. So what's that? 200 gold, kind of all up.
200 gold.
Which is not too bad, really.
Still early days though.
Yeah, we're not. Yes, the war's not finished yet. Yeah.
Not by a long shot.
And what's the current exchange rate?
Is it 2280 as a gold or something?
Yeah, if you trade in 1 gold, and you could buy 22. Well, actually, the market rate's a bit cheap, but that's what the government rate is at.
Yeah, so that's the official peg, is 22.
Yeah.
But I think it's like 25 or something, is it, or what?
And 27 on the other side if you want to buy gold.
Yeah.
Holy crap, it was like 40 like a couple of weeks ago. What happened?
I changed it.
Yeah.
Don't meddle with the market. No.
Now, basically, at the moment, my big thing is I'm wanting the government to soak up a whole lot of Australian dollars because
Yeah.
there's too much out there.
Yeah, because basically this is what happened a couple months ago as well. When the Australian government decides to go to war,
Spend.
yeah, then they flush the economy with AUD, and so what happens is like that's causes sort of inflation because there's all this currency in the economy that usually isn't there. So it's basically like printing money in real life, where you get inflation. So basically, what we've done in the past is we raise taxes and then we start using government funds to buy up money and take it out of circulation.
And so I haven't previously really ever offered government gold for sale on the market, but I am at the moment, because then people are then giving their Australian dollars back to the government, and getting our gold rather than it going to someone else who will keep that in circulation.
Oh, so that's what your constant updates are about, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
It's like, remember, buy for the government.
Yeah.
Well, no, that one is one of the things we try to get anyone elected to Congress to do is spend just the 5 gold that they get from that Congress medal, rather than saying, can you donate the gold to the government, just buy the Australian dollars from the government offer.
Yeah. So
That
basically,
brings in a bunch of gold.
yeah. So the government gets the gold, but then it's giving back Australian dollars. So
Yeah. So like, from that, just as a rough calculation, give me 1 sec.
I just want to mention, like, we probably
that brought
could
in
have
72 gold, which actually is a pretty poor effort from Congress, but
yeah.
you can't make them do it, so that's still 72 more gold coming in than we would have had otherwise.
But don't you need quite a bit of AUD at the moment?
Yeah, so I don't mind selling gold off in exchange for AUD. But reality is we can print it for a heck of a lot more, so I need to always balance out, or how much gold are we paying out compared to how much Australian dollars.
Do we hold any foreign currency?
I normally try to transfer that into gold.
Yeah, so we usually sell it off and like sell it off on other people's markets. So
Yeah.
So ultimately, you're just basically looking at just like putting it back in gold.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's still early stages of the game, I guess.
yeah. So because the economy is so small, it actually needs quite a lot of micromanagement.
I
Yeah.
could imagine.
Yeah,
Less than it did. My job has gotten much easier than probably end of Callum's term, and Tim, you were straight after Callum, yeah?
Scotty was then. It was me.
Sure.
Scotty, actually, yeah. So last month of Callum's term, and basically all of Scotty's were probably my hardest. Since then, it's gotten easier, and Tim's were actually a breeze because we had massive gold
Yeah,
incomes, which recovered everything from the first 5 months or so.
yeah.
I
So
do.
that's what we call fiscal responsibility, boys.
Nothing about.
Well, I'm on the left and I did it. So
Really? Did you do it?
the buck stops with me, so therefore it is my. Therefore, I am taking the credit.
So is ADF currently handling sort of the what would be the old Centrelink from Europe, like food supplies, weapon supplies? But is that only for war, or is it
Just for war.
every day?
So basically, at the moment we sort of have a vaguely charity system if someone does need something. So like the more richer players sort of are on the lookout in general for if someone needs help with something, basically.
But there's no dedicated kind of like.
No, currently there's no government office
It's
that
something
deals
that
with it.
backloaded in the first couple of my terms, but there's more that the ADF really picked it up, and because wages are quite good here, most people could be self-sufficient straight away.
Yeah, like
If they did it
like
right.
even on zero skill, your wage is enough to afford food, and even you can even almost start buying weapons immediately because the
Yeah,
wage is so good.
A Q1 wage would get you... a Q0 wage will get you the 2 food you need, plus a little bit left over. And then because you rank up pretty quickly, within about 3 or 4 days, you'll be pushing a skill 3, which generally is going to be getting you somewhere around 18 to 20 Australian dollars, depending on the company.
Which is
maybe.
so you're skill 3 and you're making like 3/4 of a gold already, basically,
Yeah.
which is insane. I mean, it's important to note that if you look on the economy page of Australia, the average wage is like what is it, like
And let me just have a quick...
1.2 gold, something like that. It's 20 rough, just under 28 AED.
Yes, the average wage is, call it 28,
Yeah,
which, not 1.5, probably about 1 1/3 gold.
yeah, and that's the average wage. That means that 50% of people are getting more than that. So, wages are ridiculously high here. Actually,
I guess
yeah.
no real reason to have anything like Centrelink in place then.
Yeah, so because of there's such a demand for workers, everyone gets everyone's
left behind.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone gets a good wage.
Yeah. Like I said, we've got a capitalist system with a real kind of social conscience
Yeah,
within it.
That's beautiful.
How society should be.
yeah,
Yeah. I won't disagree there.
yeah, yeah. But then, I mean, the thing is that what I would imagine happening is, if say we got 300 people in the country and they're active on a regular basis, we would start looking at dedicated commune systems and stuff for supplying and having for example, a Q5 weapon company that the government owns, so that they can stockpile Q5 weapons.
Yeah.
Like
That's something I've been pushing for a while.
Yeah, but that's unfortunately, because of their size, that's not feasible currently.
Without basically closing down the economy module for individuals.
Yeah.
Well, at the time when I was advocating it, there was a gap in the market anyway, so I thought If no one else is going to do it, at least government should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the market stepped in and filled that gap.
It did, as it usually does. But
At that point, we didn't really need Q5 weapons either.
Yeah.
no, they were noticing that in like the bigger battle, getting outgunned because purely Serbia and the US invested early on Q5s.
Did they though? I'm pretty sure we
Yeah,
beat
US
Serbia
did.
to Q5s.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
We
I
beat
know
Serbia.
They were Q3s. They had quite a lot of Q3s. I think it was. But the US definitely had Q5s pretty early on.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
they were quite early, but I think China was like, they spent their
China was
initial
the
goal.
first.
They literally was like day like 5, and they just like, fuck it, we're just putting a Q5 company. Like,
Yeah.
Speaking of censuses, why is no CP since me put forward a census?
because we don't need a census. We, in my term, we had effective government spying technology, so we didn't need it as
Yeah, that's true.
Let me put it this way: East Germany never did a census. They didn't need to. They had the Stasi.
Yeah.
Nah, it would be probably good to get a new census to compare back to that one that
True.
Callum did. I feel like that's a job for Nicky.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything for like a term. I like how Callum just like in the radio show. He's like, "Shh, guys, I'm doing a deal here."
I didn't realize they're still selling Q5 houses.
Yeah.
Actually, that's something.
He should be giving away the stuff. He is awesome rich. I think he is quite possibly the richest dude in VOs, isn't he?
Quite probably.
Sorry.
He will be now once he starts pumping out some more houses. Because for a while, because we contracted him to do a government project, which is the hospital. Yeah. So he actually lost a lot of profit that he could have made from housing and hotels and
All
stuff.
for the public
Those
good.
things
Yeah.
take such a long time to make.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I work in his company. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know firsthand how bad it is.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I'm looking forward to those Q5 houses to start rolling again from an economy side, because he sells them for gold. He's then actually transferring a lot of that gold into Australian dollars to keep paying his wages.
Yeah. So
That'll sort out our money market a bit once that starts.
yeah, I remember. Wasn't it like
500 gold
Yeah.
per house. I would rather die.
Well, blatant profiteering. They're in demand.
But I remember, like, wasn't it the first? It was like the second day of my second term, and all of a sudden we had 200 gold because Scotty had like literally just sold all this stuff. Yeah.
What was your first month of being CP?
Were you 3 months, Tim, or 2?
2 months. So,
Not quite 3.
August, September?
good question. So this, whatever this term was, the 2 before that.
You're really not that much help. Must be September, because our August numbers were pretty good. No, September numbers were shocking. Can't have been July. Can't have been that long ago.
No. October and September, I think.
Well, if it was September, your first month was shocking gold numbers.
Yeah, you know why? Because that was we were at war with Serbia then, and the very start of my term was a war with Serbia.
Ah. So October must be the month that I like to look back on.
Yeah.
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 So in like the first day, we had somebody buy 1,100 Australian dollars.
Yeah, that was
then,
Scotty. Yeah.
Like the next day, 2,000. The next day, 1,000. The next day, 700.
Yeah.
In between all this, there's like other smaller transactions.
Yeah. That, and like 50% it was Scotty. Like it was insane.
Yeah, and so like from a economy perspective, in terms of like foreign buyers that are foreign producers wanting to sell in Australia, as well as the government wanting to sell Australian dollars for gold, having Scotty do that Q5 houses and getting the production in will be really good for our economy. bringing that gold in and taking the Australian dollars off the market.
And then he can start making it. But I just want to say, it's incredible to have this conversation about economics in the game again.
Yeah.
Like I think that's one thing I agree on, even if V-pop is a bit rough around the edges. The fact that like there is like a decent like economic module, and that there's not only just profits to be made, but like a bit of
and there's
a good aspect to the game that provides.
Yeah, there's actually economic talk that is actually based in reality.
Not just speaking by.
That's basically why I left EREP.
Yeah.
I liked the economy module. It then just got crushed.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, like I remember Magister wrote like a 4-page, like, thesis almost on EREP economics and how, but it was specifically on gold exiting and entering the economy. And so
Magister is a name I'd like to see back.
Yeah, I know. I can't find him. I tried.
We need him, and then bring South Africans.
Yeah, get that whole.
Well, he had a fake name. Well, in Skype anyway.
Yeah, I tried to contact him on Skype, and he had Magister, and it's obviously a Skype account that was made specifically for EREP.
You should see if Mikhail Alexander has contacts.
Yeah, Mikhail.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Would probably have a few people in mind. Yeah, and like you said before, I think it was you, Tim, that every time a new player an old player comes back, they bring along a list of old contacts that they had. And
some of them will be the same, but some of them someone that none of us have been able to get access to. So that's what good. Every time we find someone we used to know, like, that comes back, all of a sudden we've got like a whole list of possible players that we can find. Yeah.
So let's pretend that we're still doing adding 4 of us again. But say, if you could propose one change to V Populous, what would it be? Starting with Tim.
Oh, fuck. That's a good question. Okay, pass. Give me time.
What if you can actually answer it?
I got one. I would literally just swap the number of production points required to make a gun with what it is to make probably a moving ticket. Make moving tickets 5 production points instead of 4, guns 4 instead of 5.
I would agree with that.
So we'd have more guns, a few less tickets, but reality is we don't need as many tickets as we need guns.
Yeah, that's true. And also that makes it harder as well, which is good as well in a way. Makes it harder to deploy, because I enjoyed it like when we used to have. I don't want us to go back to landlocked, but I liked it when you had like a kind of roving like couple of units, like going to separate battles and actually changing the tide of battles.
Yeah, that was good times.
But it'll also, by that, make countries able to carry out wars kind of more intensely for longer periods of time, which is going to make the game more interesting, keep players in.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay. But you, Sty, got anything in mind? With fresh eyes?
In terms of mechanics, nothing really. I'm just thinking about like the layout of the actual page itself. It seems a bit messy.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't want to beat on the guys they've done a lot in this, but like I agree. Like if they could do a nice like interface kind of change, I think that would really like make it more attractive to players as well.
Yeah, because currently, you know, let's face it, most people run an ad blocker. What do you see? You see the fucking hungry panda. The fat fuck.
I think especially if you so bad.
Yeah, so that's the first thing that I see, and I'm like, this fucking looks cheap as.
Yeah, well, there has to be like, obviously you get the gold, but there should be the fact that you're paying like $60 just to get like 100 gold. You didn't have to see some stupid fucking panda every time you load a screen.
Yeah. One thing I may have done is I used AdBlock to block that particular image from showing up on my thing. So now I get just completely.
A nice screen.
Yeah, it's completely beautiful. But that's live ad block.
Thank you for supporting the game.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just remove this only revenue that I get.
Plenty of people buy gold, it's fine.
I think if you're buying gold, then like, at least like you're supporting the game.
Yeah. Ah, Venger is in. Let's move him in. Yeah. Welcome, Venger.
I can hear you, Tim.
Yeah. Okay, maybe Venger's not. I don't know.
I'm not sure if I've ever heard Venger's voice before. Maybe like in one of the old Skype chat.
I have. It's sexy.
Is it as sexy as my voice though?
Let's not get carried away.
You've got it.
Ah, okay. He's back, it says.
Hello, guys.
Hey, how's it going? You might want to turn off the stream that we've got, so because that'll loop back on.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, welcome to vRadio.
Yeah, thanks. How are we all going?
Yeah, pretty good. How's the United States going these days?
Interesting.
So good.
Next question.
Yeah, good news is Australia has successfully PTO'd the English-speaking world. Venger is acting president. I'm acting president of England. Everything's going well.
Yeah, we just need Sty to take over Serbia and we'll have the whole world.
Yep.
They don't like me over there, mate. I already told you. And I would appreciate if you never brought that up ever again.
So have you managed to get some activity back in the US? Because I know that there was quite a few players that left.
Yeah, look, I'd say people that were active, well, maybe not quite a half, but a third maybe of those were active either gave up. I think part of it was the server downtime.
Yeah.
Probably a few little fans, probably about 4 or 5 of his supporters who just decided not to keep playing.
Yeah, it's a shame, really.
But yeah, look, it's been a pretty devastating time. The whole community was getting run into the ground anyway, so
Yeah, Rizola didn't help things.
you know, people were actually drifting away.
Yeah, because splendid isolation doesn't work if you're not actually keeping the community active.
Yeah. Yeah, so look, it's a bit of a hard road back. We've got the basic structures working, but really we don't.
Are you going to dismantle the commune system?
Sorry, say again, Cal?
Are you going to dismantle the commune system?
We've running. We're not hard and fast making it mandatory for the army, which is kind of what it had become. Being
Okay.
optional, or encouraged. Like, only really optional, but it had developed into a mandatory situation, and yeah, some people were happy with that, but a lot of people weren't. And all the.
I thought it was a bit too limited.
They also, there's quite a few downsides if you, particularly if you manage it the way it has been managed. Yeah.
Yeah, so because I think this is my speculation, but there's a Q5 juice company in the US Army, if I recall, and I'm almost certain that Rizola was using them for his own personal use. Like, because he was keeping up with some of the bigger players, and
He was catching me. He wasn't just keeping up. He was catching me.
Disgraceful. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, obviously I don't have access to the thing, and I wasn't, I can't tell if he bought them from the thing or whatever, but yeah, but
I don't think it was the scheme of things, but there was a large stockpile of juices made early on in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much left now, but
Yeah, so is that mainly from use against the United States, or?
oh well, a a fair few of them were used in the last few months, and
Yeah.
in the last week or so, but not that many. So we don't have many left. So
Okay. How have your supplies been for for handing out weapons the last couple of days? Because
we're pretty light. We don't have a lot of Q5s left.
okay, you dish them out and then you don't have much left. Yeah.
So we don't want to use them all up.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So we're just wondering how best to use them. We're thinking of ways to try and get people active by maybe giving them just one.
Okay, yeah. So like,
But yeah,
yeah,
if we go hard at it tanking, we could use all those Q5s.
yeah, pretty quick. Yeah.
So,
Is there much activity with the players themselves? Like, have you got like people that can like become cabinet and stuff, or?
I mean, we've got and one of them's not really active. One other guy, and there's virtually nothing else. No one organising parties, or no army officers or anything else.
Ah, damn.
So yeah, it's pretty thin at the moment.
Yeah, that's a shame. Rizola really fucked things up.
So we've probably got, in terms of fighters that fight every day, not on Discord, I might add, just fight. Only 25 that are kind of regularly fighting.
Okay, that's not too bad, but like then obviously not that strong like because some of the biggest players quit.
That's right, and some of them, unfortunately, most of them aren't really in contact. They're not active enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes they use weapons, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to actually
Get them active. Yeah.
Anyway, it's better than it was a week ago.
Yeah, because the week ago the sky was falling.
Yeah, we had, counting as well, we've had 3 CPs this.
Yeah, this month. Yeah. Does anyone actually know what happened to Meatwad, or just decided to fuck off?
Yeah, he just disappeared, but I know there was a bit of a dust up on Discord, all the details, but
Okay, what happened there? Do you know,
Well,
like,
I think there was not a lot of it was in Discord apparently, but they were talking, but then in private messaging.
okay. Was it just all this?
Anonymous,
Yeah. So was it basically just like all this factional politics bullshit sort of stuff, or?
I think it was all about the handover. Zula didn't want to give up the army,
Oh, that, yeah.
and was kind of Razula's plant, but I think the idea that Meatwad was going to just do what Razula told him to do.
Yeah. And they didn't, yeah.
Obviously, don't want to dwell on it too much, Venture, but like, what was it like the last couple of
Living under the Razula dictatorship.
reign?
I was on the verge of leaving.
Oh really?
What, coming here, or?
Well, that was one of the options. I even joined the ADF at one point.
Oh yeah, I did see that actually. Yeah.
Our damage count jumped right up.
Yeah.
How the hell did we do 170k in a day?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was possible, but apparently you just have to be in Australia to join the army.
Yeah, you don't have to have citizenship isn't requirement, which is worrying because it means you need to have. Like, if you're just a recruit and you haven't been assigned, can you see orders?
Probably.
Okay, that's interesting.
If it's a general order, possibly.
Yeah, that's.
There's the applicant one.
Yeah, that's
actually good point.
Yeah, because that means that someone can just like check out what the orders are, sort of thing.
Yeah, you could be a spy basically and read all the orders.
Yeah.
That's another little thing that
Could test that.
Yeah. Glad I thought of it. But yeah, so what's your thoughts on trying to get activity back? Because I know I mean, across the ages, there's been like billions of Americans that have played these games.
Yeah, and look, there's player count's still pretty high. I don't know whether they will have. So I don't know how the active rule is for being counted as active now. Like, is it maybe that you're not dead?
Yeah, I think that
my understanding is if you've logged in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what Clive said. Yeah.
So maybe our numbers will drop. Okay, maybe a significant number. I don't know.
Yeah. Shit! I just broke my fucking type in. Okay, sorry. 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 Just that's deeply upsetting. Anyway,
Fuck, you guys have done a lot of damage.
Yeah, how the fuck do you do that much damage? Like, I do
Yeah.
like 6 hits and I'm like, whew, done.
Yeah, I've been here since day one, and I'm not even like half of what these guys are.
Yeah, but Callum, remember, you've been here since day 1, but you actually have missed every second day.
Yeah, that might be true,
it's
but
yeah.
I
So
still think I should be higher than
You're actually role playing a real life Australian senator. Well done, Cal.
Malcolm Roberts.
I was thinking more of maybe the Clive Palmer asleep,
Oh, yeah.
like
I'm
in
out there.
Parliament.
Yeah.
to be fair, I would do that as a gag. Like, if like the other opposition's talking, I'd be like pretend to be asleep. Oh, well, you said something? No, you didn't. But you don't do it legit. Like, you don't actually fall asleep. That's silly.
Careful, you might get re-elected if you do that good of a job of just waking up. They're like, wow, this guy's actually paying attention, man. He woke up like twice. But the activity for this game, particularly keeping players, is really, really difficult because I think some people believe the game to be something that it's not. They think it's going to be this very kind of like almost fast-paced, action-packed kind of affair, but it's actually a bit more chilled than that.
Yeah, I mean, the way I talk to people when I like tried to advertise it to them is like it's a background game essentially. So you play it like on the side almost. Like you do your like if you can choose to like spend a minute a day on it. You fight, you train, work, and buy food. You can choose to do that, and that's your experience. But you can dive in depth if you want to and get involved with the economics and etc. 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 You know.
But maybe it's too simple.
I think the way that they should do it, battle screen, and make it a bit more immersive.
Yeah.
It would make it at least appear more, because there's not really much you can do even with EREP. Like, there still wasn't a lot you could do.
Nice if there's a few more options, different ways to train, or maybe different attributes you could train at different times or something. It's a bit one-dimensional, the strength training.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like, yeah, there's so many different aspects kind of change to make it a bit more interesting. But obviously, that's something, again, like, there's no point of them working hard on something that is going to grow. It's on the players really to help grow, and vice versa. You have to hope that the admins are on top of it, they can improve the game, so it's more immersive for players.
Like, I think on the flip side, you've got the fact that 500,000 people used to log on actively on a game of exact this thing. You know what I mean? Like, the simplicity has its bonuses because it's the community that becomes the main focus.
The problem for me is the simplicity is people know the strategy.
Yeah.
It has become, like, there's been several VPOPs now, and they all head in the same direction of having a bipolar kind of world power structure.
I mean,
effectively.
Yeah. I mean, that was a reality in EREP as well.
Yeah, EREP's very similar, and
What is it really? I didn't think Europe was bipolar.
All
Back in the day, it was
Yeah.
Eden and Phoenix, and there was a few neutrals, but they didn't matter.
yeah, like it's like basically if you weren't good enough to join the big countries, you'd start a third way alliance, basically.
Yeah,
But-
and really, there's no point trying to start a new alliance. Whatever, you might as well be one of the two power blocks.
Yeah, because I mean that's the only thing strong enough to defend you.
Gives you the activity you need for training, and it just
So basically, Australia was always in the alliance that Indonesia was not in,
Mm.
and then like, obviously Serbia and Croatia would be in different alliances, and the strategy was behind who is it possible to find. It was this weird sort of mesh of, okay, these two countries hate each other, so they're opposites, obviously. But then, what are the relations of every country to each other, sort of thing? And you have these weird sort of alliances where countries that don't like each other were forced to be on the same side.
yeah. That's right, and I mean, in the end, that whole thing actually breaks down because the two alliance structure actually trumps everything.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got, like, 20 massive countries, it's fine.
Mm.
Yeah, like, because it's
That's where EREP always kind of did work to an extent. Yeah, you had these two main alliances, but within that there were kind of different groupings of countries.
yeah, like, different strategies behind it, because then, like, there's different fronts of the war and all that sort of stuff, and
Yeah.
like Central Command would decide that, oh, we're gonna push on this front or whatever, and then but we'll allow this front to be retreated or whatever, you know.
I think the whole EREP thing now is something different again.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, EREP these days.
These days it seems very much to be who's willing to pay the most gold.
And I can't believe there's some people who still accept that as an acceptable thing.
Oh, guys, you remember how you get like God of War? It's like, ooh, now it's like Titan, Super Mega Ultra, fucking 15th rank God of fucking War. And you're like, Jesus.
But no, God of War is basically nothing. I'm a God of War in EREP, and I haven't played for 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like,
It just doesn't make sense that one person can take on like 100.
Yeah.
well, the problem was that they just once they decided that Field Marshal wasn't good enough, that was where the slippery slope started of, oh, every so often they just had to add ranks to it.
I still remember Romper getting water. That was
Romper getting first Field Marshal.
no God of War.
Oh right, he got God of War. Who got?
Almost immediately.
I remember who was the first person to get Field Marshal? That was back in the very old days. It was
Stymix?
Probably Colin or something.
Battle Gazi?
no, there was another one. Euphonics, that's the one. A Portuguese guy. He had a moustache. Him and Clav were actually friends because Clav was one of the big tanks in Portugal in V1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I actually I found one of these YouTubers that have all the battles from 2009 2010, like all the massive battles of EREP, and I looked at one of them. Yeah, WA's in there, like Lion King, Hello Kitty, Central Croatia, like all these massive battles where the Serbs were just like, fuck it, we're just gonna do everything we can, like that sort of thing. And this was back when Serbs weren't a superpower, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
You know who's fucking occupying Victoria in Europe at the moment?
Lithuania?
Yeah,
Illicky fucking Wania, like.
I think they're
I
actually kind of
understood
strong.
Indonesia, I understood Chile, and I understood
Indonesia.
yeah, yes, and Peru, but Lithuania, all the way from Europe. This tiny
Airstrike.
little,
They just
like,
airstriking.
landlocked-
And someone tried to suggest that we should do an airstrike in this game, and I'm like, ah, fuck you.
I kind of could see it, but maybe make a certain, like, maybe it's limited to the distance of a Q1 ticket from a region.
Yeah.
Like, in reality, nations can kind of parachute troops into a particular area,
Oh yeah.
but like Canada wouldn't just be suddenly jumping in and starting a full frontal war in Indonesia.
Yeah, or there's an
That's
ex,
why I kind of like the way
or like whatever the cost
you
is.
can
It's
actually kind of make your really want to get to them.
Yeah, or you can make it so like in the same way that there's 5 different levels of tickets, you have it so there's a to the power of for every queue. So, for example, if you want to go Q5, then you do whatever the cost is to the power of 5.
Yeah.
That sort of like, so it makes it ridiculously expensive if you want to go around the world.
So it then really throws in, it's really because you're wanting to open up a brand new front
And you
from
want,
an unexpected
like,
direction.
or if someone like tried to do a region swap thing where you block them off by one region, then you can just use an airstrike to hop over, sort of thing. Like, but and obviously, like, if you want to go too far, then you have the problem of it costing way more. Like, and like obviously you've got your population and all that type of stuff, but to the power of whatever, however many queues you use, it makes some sort of sense, I would imagine.
So I reckon tickets should come with a cooldown. Is
That too. Well, I think in E-Rep, and let me have a look. I'm not sure if it has a cooldown, but you need people to donate in both money and energy. Yeah.
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is. And then it requires a war declaration, so it's not a complete surprise thing. The other nation can see that you're preparing it.
I reckon the way to fix the bipolar setup is to change the way MPPs work together, so that you actually have to be present in a region to fight.
Or a cap on the number of MPPs.
No, well, you use the MPP for something else, so that you can midge on behalf of another country or together with another.
Or it costs more after a certain amount of MPPs you have.
I think by forcing you to move, it you're employed. At the moment, you just MPP and fight wherever, kind of thing. Don't have to move, just camp in the capital and all that.
I mean, the thing is that it's a big deal to attack cores. That was the big thing, and that's still a big thing, like now. But the only difference is because there's a lot of dead countries and a few really powerful ones, MPPs have lost their sting unless you're MPPing a big country. So if someone MPPs Australia, that's a huge deal. But MPPing like Croatia or something is irrelevant, basically.
Yeah, there's no point in us people. People should be MPPing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even MPP except for if they want our protection, pretty much, or they want in the trading war in this case.
Which is so weird.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. It's like, I'm still wrapping my head around it, yeah.
Yeah, so Austin the Third is Australian account at some point.
What was that? Sorry, Avenger?
Austin the Third.
Yep.
Whatever his name was.
Austin.
Yeah, farmer.
Yeah, Austin. I love that guy. He's such a tool.
The MPP, the way it works, it encourages.
I don't have to call it there. Sorry.
You off fire? Nice. Okay. That was vRadio. He's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so carry on.
The thing is, the MPP is what creates the people don't move, basically. They just sit in their own capital regardless of what country, and tend to encourage two conglomerates of countries, which one's powerful and whatever, one way or another. It tends to encourage you to stay put, and all you do is you use MPPs to fight in whatever regions but really you're not actually moving. No one's rarely moves. You know, the old mobile attack is a bit of a rarity these days.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the problem is that there's, at least in this current version, there's not enough incentive to bother doing a mobile attack. Like, just
part of the issue, I think, if you make the game a lot more interesting if you move to attack wherever, and you know, you need to use your forces more tactically, and you know, to distribute your forces on, civil battlefronts. Maybe you may need some people in a defensive role.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion that it would be a good idea to have like construction companies take an even bigger role. So like, things like rail, like for transport. So instead of using a moving ticket, you can choose to hop on a rail like so it takes time to move somewhere rather than buying a ticket and instantly moving somewhere. Or yeah.
Or some time factor.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, or even having something like hospitals have amount of uses as well. So but you can build multiple hospitals.
Yeah, you know how the hospitals got an area of effect.
Yeah, the capital. Yeah, that's interesting.
They didn't do on its own. It does nothing really, but the whole idea was that you have to sort of network of hospitals, and that they had and you have to make them cheaper to build as well.
Mm.
The idea is you didn't actually have to be in the hospital region; you just had to be near it.
Yeah, I think the problem is that no one wants to fight 4 times rather than 5 times. So
changing the 2 hospitals a day was actually quite an important step at Nexus.
Yeah.
Because the other thing you could do is say, well, maybe the wellness regeneration is time-based as well.
Yeah.
It takes longer than a Q4 to actually give you that wellness plan.
That's a good point actually. That's not a bad idea. That's so you for example, a Q1 hospital can give you the same amount of health that Q5 does. It just takes, you have to be more active to do it or something like that.
Yeah, and so if you're only in a Q4, you only get 40 wellness, but maybe you get it quicker and then you can fight again.
Yeah.
But, that change to doing it 12 hourly, I think is an important step, because that was always like
that day change was the most important time ever, sort of thing.
Kind of, maybe you can change it again there, where it was kind of off.
It would be interesting to have, different countries have different day changes. That would be interesting.
Well, I reckon you just make hospitals, if you make them time-based, you don't have...
Yeah.
And well, you can do the same with food.
It'd be interesting.
It's, once every 8 hours or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something interesting to talk about, eh? Like, there's different options to make things, give it a bit of spice. Yeah.
So if you go right back to EREP 1, version 2 was because version 1 was becoming, the tactics were standardised.
But I think, I'm sort of mixed on that sort of thing, because at the same time it became fun because it was a grand game of strategy and everyone knew the rules, so you had to play these shifty moves to get an advantage, and you had to strike here especially, and in fact resistance wars became more common because they were an unknown that didn't it was difficult to strategize around resistance wars, so they became
yeah, that's true, but a lot of the other elements of the game become, you couldn't really, particularly when you get strength levels and you're similar to a lot of other people, and if you use a Q1 weapon, you're going to do the same damage.
Yeah.
To optimise beyond that.
Yeah.
So the country tactics, maybe there was a bit in there, but for individuals, fairly standardised. Everyone's effectively on the same kind of game parameter, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You only fight once a day, you only use that kind of weapon, you can only afford X amount, because that's the way the productivity rule works.
Yeah.
On the same day in, day out, there's not a lot of tactical stuff for individuals.
Yeah, but I think the timed attacks and the community aspect is what made the game popular. It wasn't the game itself.
Yeah, I guess so, but because there isn't all that other kind of action orientation in playing the game, or like who's going to do the most damage, for example.
Mm.
And for individuals, there's kind of limited options.
Yeah.
Because you can only afford so much in the way of weapons and so on.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got the element of surprise that you can use, like particularly fighting at the middle of the battles. It's pretty interesting. By like changing timing on hospitals and when you eat food and having to move and having timeout cooldowns on so that to bring up reinforcements would take a bit of time.
Mm.
All those things really change the a lot less predictable when you can do that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the previous VPOPs, that bipolar kind of structure, and it just gets a bit boring.
Mm. I mean, the thing is that I think the boringness comes from the countries not doing what they can to, like, especially like in this version, for example, when we Resistance Ward Maramuras and we're kicking ass, etc., etc., etc. But then the polls were like, oh, okay, we'll just quit until the next version, like until repop resets.
Yeah.
Like, that was the sort of their attitude, rather than, oh shit, we need to recruit and get powerful and stuff. Like, there was a defeatist attitude rather than let's get into it sort of thing. So I think that was a bigger factor than
I mean, you see that for various reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately they've changed a bit now, so countries don't really get wiped.
Yeah.
The way it was when you lost your capital, your hospital got knocked down.
Yeah, and then you had to like actually build a new hospital.
G3 by the time you get it back again.
Yeah, and then when you get it back was to build a brand new hospital and place it on top, sort of thing.
Yeah, and virtually economically that's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's
you gotta wait, and people either quit or they go to another country. So, I mean, they have changed those rules now, so that, relatively minor, like having your capital region attack, all of a sudden wipes out your country, and people decide to leave.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do that, like, Australia's been pretty lucky in that regard, that keeping like active and experienced players active, whereas other countries have struggled with that sort of aspect.
Yeah.
And the game mechanics are one part, but the community's, I think, way bigger aspect than the game itself.
Oh, I agree, but I'm just saying there are some.
Yeah. There's definitely improvements that can be made that can help like the process. Yeah.
And the whole, you just look around the world, and there's some countries that don't exist.
Mm.
Because people, like, I think you were talking earlier before I went away. You were talking about people deciding they don't want to start before it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear that all the time. I'd stay 100 or day 150 or whatever. So why bother?
He rips on day like 4,000 or something.
And I mean, it is a bit of an issue, but today it's not a big one. But
yeah,
people kind of make those decisions. Well, my account in E-Rep is I've spent too much gold on E-Rep, so I've got to play there.
Yeah, that Henry, yeah.
But that's what people do.
But I think as well, what was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought now. Fuck, that's not good. Yeah, that was Henry, sort of, he spent a lot of money on E-Rep, so he's like, I don't want to play anymore. Like, I don't want to move to VPOP, even though all the people, all my friends and all that type of stuff that I used to hang out with and had a good time with are in this game.
Yeah. You kind of got to, wow, look at it. It's gone. Be happy to walk away if that's what it gets to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sunk cost fallacy. Like, you think you're gonna make a profit off something, like, but you're not. You're staying there out of spite because you don't want to like have thought to have wasted that money that you spent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit silly, I reckon, but unfortunately that is part of the reality, yeah? And as you say, it's the same when, like the Maramures thing, losing your own region is actually quite impactful.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating.
It's actually a bit of a overpowered aspect of the game. Having to drop down to medium is quite an impost.
Yeah, but I think as well, like, it's partially a big deal, such a huge thing because of the amount of people and countries there are. Like, people lost iron quite often in the original V1 EREP,
yeah.
like, but it wasn't the end of the world because basically what you do is you'd have the other country export to you all of a sudden, you know, like, and the price of iron would go up slightly or whatever, but it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah, and there's a lot more trade in original EREP.
Yeah, I think partially is because, like, everyone's getting sucked into weapons and there's more demand for weapons than there is supply, and so like the entire economy is drawn into weapons more than what EREP was, but just because of these extra fights that we've got now, hotels and second hospital and juice and all this type of stuff, you know.
We actually have up the productivity formula by 3 times when they did the 2 hospitals.
Did they?
So as many production points now as you before.
I think it's still not enough. It's still not enough, I'm pretty sure.
Well, you do get to the level where you can afford to buy your 10 guns.
Yeah.
Around about skill 8, around about the.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Depends on what economy you're in as well, but yeah.
But you do burn a lot more resources as soon as you go beyond Q1.
Yeah. So, like, the economy's like trying to keep up with supplying everyone with Q1s, but then there's obviously people that are making Q5s and Q2s and Q3s and 4s, etc., you know.
Yeah. I mean, economically, it's pretty hard to sustain Q5s, to be honest.
Yeah, especially with the number of people we've got currently.
Well, you need people. The only way it really works is if you've got citizens that don't want to fight.
Yeah.
Commune work or whatever to make your Q5s for you. And really, that's not actually that good for the country. Make Q1s for everyone and they all fight.
Yeah. Well, that's what Australia did, like, whereas the US was once a week you'd supply commune workers with weapons or something like that. Like, Australians were fighting every day with 5 weapons at least, you know. And there was...
How does it work? Sorry, I just really want to ask this. How much does it cost to make a Q5 compared to a Q1 weapon?
In terms of productivity, it's like 5 times as much, so
yeah.
you can make 5 Q1 weapons for every Q5 weapon.
Huh.
So basically what you're doing is every time you make a Q5 weapon, you're deciding not to make 4 Q1 weapons.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So I think I'm not 100% sure on the exact.
It's 5 times. So if you can just make a Q5, alternatively for the same resources and the same amount of iron. Now, if someone needs 10 Q5s to go do a bit of tanking, the opportunity cost, if you like, is 50 Q1.
Yeah, so that's... The question becomes, when you do the math on, okay, if we gave, 10 people 5 weapons, and they all did their fights, how much damage would that do compared to that one person doing 10 Q5 hits?
Well, always is in favour of the Q1s. The only problem with going Q1 is have you got enough people to use them.
Yeah.
So when everyone that's active are already maxing out the Q1s, if you've got Q5s there, or whatever should be using them, and you get more damage. But if you've got people that are missing out because they haven't got enough Q1s, you're actually worse off. Guys. So, like, we've got plenty of Q1s, and you guys probably do as well.
Yeah.
You can get everyone getting 10 Q1s a day. Generally speaking, that's the best damage anyway.
Yeah. But then,
Just
there's a bit of what ultimately happens in an economy is not everyone can afford to buy all the weapons that is being produced on a normal basis. So while it makes the most sense to do that, you end up with surpluses of Q1 weapons generally. But when a battle happens, that's when the government buys them out and distributes them, so that gets rid of the surpluses. But essentially, like, that's how come there's all these extra weapons, Q1 weapons on the market usually. So basically, we sort of trade the not spent weapons and trade that for Q5 production, basically.
But, you know, for everyone that produces a bunch of Q1 weapons, it's a profit differential, but in essence, if you put aside the profit and the taxes, they should be able to afford to buy all the weapons they produce. Because in reality, there's a profit margin usually, and there's a tax loss that goes back to the government as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the Q1 weapon company I own that I work in, I make about 19 to 20 Q1s. So that's more than... What's that?
What skill are you?
8 something. I think.
So the way you work it out is a level of 8 or 8.5, whatever it is. You multiply that by 12 is how many points, and then divide by 5.
Yeah. Actually, I'm only 7.87.
Yeah, okay. So that's about 94 or something like points.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And then divide that by 5 is how many guns you make. 8 and 19.
Yeah, I make 94.2 production points.
Yeah, so that'll be sometimes it'll be 19.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah.
So the iron, if you like, which basically is a third of that.
Yeah.
So if there were 3 people like you, 2 on manufacturing and 1 on land, in one company.
Yeah, because what we do in our Q1 food company was Callum would work land, then myself and Nikki Three Fingers would work manufacturing for the Q1 food.
Yep.
And that worked out to be basically equivalent.
Well, it's basically a ratio of 2 to 1.
Yeah.
And is on high productivity, of course. But
yeah.
That's why it's only 1 for 2 manufacturing.
Yeah.
Thinking of guns, if you've got 3 people making iron and guns at your skill level, 2 people make the 18 guns each, and you share with 3 people. So that's like 36, so you get 12 each.
Okay, yeah. That's not too bad.
So,
assuming no hotels or any of that type of stuff, you basically everyone can get their 2 hospital flights and then
yeah,
and then a slight surplus.
That's right, and you know, maybe sometimes you buy some juice or whatever, you know.
Yeah, so you got that bit of surplus.
The point is somewhere between, you know, maybe it's nearly skill 7. You can 10 weapons each. You also need a bit of food, and there's a few other issues, like depends on how much pay and whatever. If you run it as a commune, you can largely avoid the tax, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, so patents allow you to produce enough for roughly 10 Q1s for your 10 fights. You know, as long as you're on twice a day to do all that.
Yeah.
7 to do it.
And that's a big part in keeping activity up, really, because that 2 fights is a pretty big game changer in keeping people active, really, because it's twice as active, basically.
It's funny, I heard a few people complain when they were originally talking about it. I only want to come on once a day to play. Why should I have to come on twice? But it's like, well... well,
you don't have to, you know.
you won't do as much damage as someone who wants to be a bit more active.
Yeah, that's the reality, really.
I think that's a good thing because it does encourage activity.
Yeah, it gets people, and like the big problem is that the government ends up having to pay more money for budgeting and that when a battle comes around.
Yeah. In the end, you can only really use what people produce.
Yeah. Like, because at the moment, I think the Australian economy, what it produces is what's happening, is what it's sending out to battle against Serbia, pretty much.
Yeah. We're pretty much the same, but for a long time, though, we were under using weapons.
Yeah. You had a massive surpluses.
Yeah, and
then you'd never spend them either. This weird sort of authority that, like, sort of like, it was weird because the US was started off way stronger and with more players, and it was still had more players, and they were the same players, so they were getting stronger, but Australia was doing way more damage just because everyone was fighting with weapons constantly.
I think there's a couple of problems. There were a lot of people working and just not getting supplies or very limited supplies.
Yeah.
So, like, the commune was handing out 10% of your production basically as the standard supply. Were withheld to, use for bigger battles or whatever, but
yeah,
there weren't any, or very rarely. And there was a bit being siphoned off by a few at the top, obviously.
Yeah, well,
they weren't doing very much damage. They were fighting bare hands a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's
now we're desperately. I'll give weapons to anyone who asks.
Yeah,
so they can fight with a weapon 10 times. But people aren't used to it. There's still a lot of people that just don't want to go on Discord or whatever.
Yeah,
and just fight bare hands, or some just don't fight at all.
Yeah, apparently there's some economics players basically that just want to do the economics module, but what they don't realise is they're actually damaging demand for the products of the economics module. Like the economy module sort of needs usage of this type of stuff.
Yeah, I think they just, I don't know, fighting or whatever, they're just minimising their play. It's hard to understand, to be honest. But
yeah.
The other thing that happens in the US, there's that kind of handout mentality of some people, so the more active ones do want to come and ask, buy their own weapons. Maybe they don't have a lot of money anyway if they've been in the commune or whatever, but
yeah,
just until they get a handout. They'll sometimes they come in and ask, and if no one responds, they just log off and they'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Funny, it's hard to manage those people when you've got so few
active players that can do it. Yeah,
because they're kind of used to 24/7. Someone's there to do the handout. Because that's how it's worked for the US in the past. Like people on supplies and.
Yeah, I mean Australia is pretty lucky in that regard because it has a lot of strong activity. So, like the percentage of the active player base is huge in terms of activity.
The player too, like some of these players are active in the sense that they'll come on, but they're not active that they don't really want to be involved in the army management or whatever.
Yeah, like they don't want to get involved in the
they're literally like infantry.
Yeah. Tell me what to do when I do it, sort of thing, but not command, sort of stuff.
Yeah, and like if there's no orders, they just log off and come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's obviously nothing to do today.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that kind of, there's not a lot of initiative, I guess. Different style of players.
Yeah, I think it's also conditioning as well. Like, that's been the way it's been for a long time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's good.
So like, there's people in Oz like request weapons, like even when there's no battle one, they're just like, oh, it's their weapons, and like, oh no, there's no. Okay, well I'll buy my own then. Okay, cool, no problem. See ya, sort of thing.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know how it's going to go. It's been pretty hard to generate a lot of activity. The amount of people hitting at the end of the day, it's not terrible, but.
Oh, you mean like in timed attacks, or?
Oh, yeah, well, we're not even thinking of that. But,
okay.
well, we have been doing a bit of that, but, it's like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
So, across the battle, we might have, like, I think we've been having 25 to 30 people will do some damage.
Okay, that's not too bad, really.
But a lot of them, half of them don't use weapons.
Yeah.
Which is not very useful.
And then
they haven't used weapons. Like they might have, but they've only done 20 or 30,000
total. Yeah,
the rank is terrible.
Yeah, that's the United States' biggest problem, is the rank of all the players is so bad. That's why Australia, with the same amount of people, almost maybe slightly more, is able to do way more damage just because everyone's got good rank.
And like, for me, I've got the best rank in the US, but I don't actually regard myself as a tank. I don't really go out of my way to optimize my.
Yeah.
I don't use a little amount of gold, but I don't go out of my way to gold tank or anything else.
Yeah.
So slow and steady, but at the front of the line for the US.
Yeah, I think that was the problem of the US. Like, didn't create a system where you'd have people with high ranks. Like that's, I mean, myself and Razula used to talk on that type of stuff, but he never, like, he didn't see the benefit. He was like, oh well, we've got all these stockpiles, and I was like, well, that's great, but when it comes time to hitting, doesn't matter how many stockpiles you have if all the players don't do much damage.
Me, I mean, the rank is reasonably important, but it's not actually everything. And, if you're, 1 or 2 ranks behind the best players, you still hit.
Oh, yeah. But, like, the problem is the US is like 5 or 6, most players are 5 or 6 ranks behind the average,
or hardly ever use weapons in particular, and maybe only fight once a day instead of twice a day. They're well down. But players like Razula, for example, he himself, I mean, he used to go reasonably hard at it. Yeah, there's not very many that are hitting reasonably hard on a regular basis.
Could they implement something where by default a person that's just about to fight with no weapons automatically gets a weapon?
Okay, you mean
like in the during war, like you would assign, like, I don't know, 100 Q1s for soldiers to use, so that way people don't necessarily have to ask for the supplies; they're automatically given.
It's actually, up until fairly recently, if you had weapons in the inventory, you used them automatically.
But what about like in terms, like, for example, your CP now, for you to assign, and obviously I know this mechanic doesn't exist now, but you basically say 100 Q1 weapons, put it on for this war. Anybody who fights who doesn't have one automatically uses it.
Yeah. Conceivable, that could be.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Like, basically, it's almost like communing, like creating like the government hands out weapons basically, but you don't have to actually do anything like physical in terms of like sending and having like a distributor or something. It's just sort of all the people that would have done nothing or use no weapons, they just get given a weapon by the game essentially.
I think it's hard to do that if you want some people to go and earn and buy their weapons, but just the stragglers automatically get a government weapon.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, in a way, you would still be buying it from the market, but the only thing is that you'll be just disposing of it much quicker now, wouldn't you? I mean, ultimately, you're still going to buy the weapons from the market, but you're giving it to the people. I mean, I know this isn't a long-term solution. Ultimately, you want everybody to buy their own stuff and, you know, look after themselves, but this would definitely be a way of A, getting people to actually fight with real weapons, and B, taking some of that stock off the market. Well, I'm not sure if there's a shortage now or not, but
Yeah, look, this surplus issue is dissipating pretty quickly, but I mean, because of the fact that people were consuming weapons automatically before, as I say, that's actually just changed recently, but it's become standard. This is different from eRep. Another thing that's people got used to is virtually everyone now wants to have an organisation. Somewhere to store their weapons so they don't use them by mistake. They had to stockpile weapons because they were being automatically consumed. Change that mechanic, that might not happen quite so much. But it's just interesting that people feel that that's what they should do. Piling, but for what? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you're doing a training war, you don't want to use them, you want to save them for the real war tomorrow or the next day, but
If there's no real war coming, then
so my feeling is the US style is very government dependent. Like everyone kind of weapons because the government does that and they will give me weapons when it's time to fight, and I don't want to make that decision because I might get it wrong. Do everything. That's kind of how a lot of US players work, and is that you try and encourage the players to think for themselves and get involved in the decision making and so on.
yeah.
When they need to, go and buy weapons or juices or whatever, and what they need to learn to optimize their performance.
well, you see, that's one of the design flaws that I was thinking about. And I'm thinking as like a new player, so a person who's just registered has no idea what they're getting themselves into. Like for all of us, it's more of the same, isn't it? We're used to the mechanics, we understand where the market is, how to buy, whatever. But I think that there should be more on the main page that sort of encourages the player to actually buy, not necessarily have to go to the market, you know, click on Q2, go on to weapons. It should be more accessible, easier to buy.
Yeah.
So like you get a pop-up saying you need food, you need this much, and automatically you get the prices there, whereas now it's kind of like, okay, where do I go? Market. Okay, oh dude, there's so much stuff here. What's juice? What the fuck is, what's the difference between Q5 and Q2? Like, nothing makes sense for a new player. So I honestly believe that there should be something like just on the home page that encourages people to buy.
Certainly could have a warning on you know, having no weapons.
Yeah, like when you're about to fight and you've got no weapons, it says, hey, don't forget if you...
New mechanic is already catching a lot of people out when you run out of...
Yeah, that's happened to me a few times where, because I've set priority for say a Q3 or something, and then I've run out of Q3s, but it didn't automatically swap to the next weapon. It decided to fight barehanded instead.
So yeah, I think just about everyone's probably been caught by that a few times. A week or so that's been in place. But so it could be that a good idea there to have a warning, you know, you're about to fight with no weapon, are you sure?
Yes, and also make the market and make purchasing much more easier and less convoluted than it is. And once again, I'm looking at it from a new player's perspective. Like, it all makes sense to us once again, but like, I as a new player would just get lost.
Yeah.
So it needs to be very accessible, like, bang, here are your prices, buy, automatic, not fucking going around the site trying to find where you actually purchase the weapon.
I mean,
it'll be very kind of prompt based. list. Like, you need this, get it, buy. Yep, done.
I think as well the fact there's no box that, say there's like a Q1 weapon at $4 or whatever, and then you want 5, and you click 5, but you have to do the math on that yourself. There should be a box there that says this will cost you a total of 20 AD. Do you want to do this sort of thing?
Yeah, and once again, I think that the home screen should give you the market prices. You should have everything on the home screen.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah, but the problem is it gets very cluttered.
And there are a lot of market.
I'm not saying open up everything at once, but for example, well, it's kind of hard to explain from design perspective, but you basically have almost like drop-down boxes. So now you've got shouts, you've got player news, you've got active battles, you've got events. Surely the active battles could be put into events under...
Market pages are very tedious, and to have drop downs where it doesn't actually try and refresh everything would be a bit easier.
That's true.
Whether it be on the home page or the battle screen, something like that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm only looking at it from a kind of like getting to the game straight away perspective. Like what are the steps that are sort of preventing me from kind of like experiencing the game? And for me, I honestly think it's a whole lot of look, for example, like when you're trying to look at the administration of a country, you click on the flag, you go onto another screen, then you have to go into a tab, and then you click that, and then you get this little list. It's just too. Why is it hidden? Why is it hidden?
I think the problem is that there's a lot of stuff to look at that you can't just put everything on one page. There's too much stuff, you know.
No, but, that's absolutely fine. Once again, I'm not saying open up everything for me, but give me the fucking button right there. Like, why do I have to do 3 steps to check the fucking administration of a country? Why?
Just like when you change to a different country, it always takes you back to the first tab. Like if you're on the administration, you know, if I'm on USA checking the laws for the USA, and I think, oh, I'll go and check what Serbia are doing. Yeah, but then you got to change the tab as well.
Oh yeah, like you're in administration, then you change country, and then you're back in society for Serbia.
Yeah, and there's a number of things like that happen that you just end up with more keystrokes than is reasonable.
That's true.
And it is a bit tedious at times. I mean, the whole interface is still a bit clunky.
Yeah.
Alright, well, let me ask you this, Benja. What, on your homepage, based on what you do on VPOP and what you've done in EREP, your homepage, which is your hub, what would you like to see on there?
You know what I actually do, which I don't know if other people do this, but as I always have got a few tabs open. I have my home page, I have my inventory page, the battle page, and I'll have my construction page.
Yeah, I when I need them, I'll open a bunch of tabs up and have everything on there.
So, because it's painful to have to jump backwards and forwards. So, if I want to be on my home page and on the inventory page, I just have 2 tabs. And particularly with companies, and it's just a pain in the ass to have to be in and out of them. So
yeah, so because I don't know in any companies, does anything pop up on the homepage, like, you know, like production or anything, or do you see basically what I see now: shouts, events, active battles, news?
Yeah, you don't really see. The only thing you do get is when someone leaves your company on your citizen page, but it's just on the normal alerts.
Yeah.
But nothing about how much stock was sold.
No.
And you know, even when you go, like, you'd think maybe you'd get that on your organisation homepage.
Yeah, that would be useful, really. Like, get rid of the shouts for orgs, or some of these things for orgs. and then like replace them with like a little snapshot of each company or something like that, you know, and make it customizable so you can choose which one you want to look at, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah, and just being able to do aggregates, or if you've got iron companies and a couple of gun companies, you know, just to be able to say, you know, there's my iron production, there's my Q1 production, there's my Q3 production, or, you know, that's how many I've got in stock and that's how many I've produced today, or whatever, you know, all those sort of lines. If you could customise that on your organisation page, that would be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Configurable kind of pane that you could set up or something like that.
Yeah, once again, guys, when I talk about these things, I'm just talking from a fresh player that just registered. Like, because all you get is active battles. That's the only thing that's happening now. Everything else is sort of locked, like in these little tabs.
Yeah.
So you go into market, it's like marketplace, raw market, exchange, jobs, property, estate. You're like, what the fuck is all this? I mean, 3 of the things I understand, but like estate and property.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Companies. And the state.
Yeah, I understand that, but from a fresh player, a person who has no idea what VPOP is.
I understand. And look, even for experienced players, I was talking to someone today about how do you set a hotel rent.
Yeah.
It's not really obvious.
It's not particularly intuitive, no.
Yeah. Once you've done it, it's pretty straightforward. But never done it before, and you're scratching around, and of course, when something doesn't work, then you're wondering: is it just a bug? Is it something else, or am I doing it wrong, or because it's timed out? I've already done it today, or something. And yeah, there's a lot of areas like that that don't quite work properly. Messages a bit dodgy still.
If I suggested some changes to just like the hub, do you reckon they would even bother listening?
Yeah, definitely. I've done it a number of times.
And did they actually say like, yeah, we'll definitely look into it?
Yeah. If they think it's a good idea, they'll definitely get into it.
I really think I'm onto something, man. I really do, because we're all seeing that one side, which is the experience, which is cool. We understand how it works, but many people don't. They feel overwhelmed. They feel lost.
You know, they've just launched these missions. We were talking about the missions in the previous version of VPOP. Hiatus, like, they stopped for about a year, I think it was, to redevelop. And then they did a test round, which ran for a couple of months. Do the missions. You know, don't launch the new VPOP without the missions. And they've only just done it. These things are a bit slow, and the missions they have done are a little bit clunky, but I think they're a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that they release something and then they'll fine tune it as they go, sort of thing.
But you know, the reality is that all these things are coming pretty slowly, and that's the only thing I would say, Sty, is they're receptive. They're more than willing to listen. You know, much more so than any other game I've played like this. You know, they'll listen and try and your ideas, if you like. You know, they hardly ever reject anything out of hand. Usually, they want to understand what you're about and whatever. Reality is the actual delivery of improvements, if you like, is still relatively slow.
Look, even some basic stuff like I cannot remember what I do exactly when I get this, but it's like you like something and it shifts you to another page and says, oh, you like this comment, and you're like, awesome, I would have liked to continue reading it, but thank you for putting me in this weird page.
So you have to learn to use back a fair bit.
Yeah.
It's just not intuitive though, right? Like,
yeah, that's right. Some of those things like that where you jump. The other one is like when you accept a friendship. You got a page, well, when you've been playing for a while, you got a page, there's about 10 pages worth of existing friend requests,
Yeah.
and new request is right at the bottom. So you page all the way down, accept, which is what you normally do, and then you're thinking, oh, I might go and see who that was, and of course it's gone. So,
Yeah, and the font is all the same. Nothing's underlined to show you that there's a link. At least it doesn't on my browser. So it all looks like plain text, but then you mouse over the name and you
that's a good point. Yeah.
Some places you mouse over and it changes the font line. Well, I think some might underline, like the URLs might do. But like if you mouse over a name or a location or a country, it's change the color of the font.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell you that you can do that. So like, I'm looking at my profile page and I've got location Darwin, Australia, right? But it just looks like plain text. And then I mouse over it and it's like, oh shit, I can actually click on this.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
Once again, this is nitpicking. I understand that it's basically what, like 2-3 guys working on it?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So I'm being like, you know,
they're not full time either.
They've got jobs as well, like
studying full time or jobs or whatever, and they just do, a couple of hours here and there and a bit on the weekend or whatever, and that's kind of what you got to work with.
Yeah, it's just, I think to get a game going, you need to have a very sort of intuitive design, very accessible, easy to navigate, easy to understand. Like, remove any obstacles that would deter you from actually exploring. And I know I'm a two-clicker, so I know exactly what I'm doing. I click on work, I click on train, I'm done, kind of thing. Maybe fight. But everything else, like market, buying property, organizations, this sort of stuff, it just seems a bit, I don't know. It's not.
It's hard to learn, and I can still remember my first time in eRep, because it was a similar issue back then. Hard to find what the hell's going on, and if you don't get involved with the community by yourself, it's almost impossible to learn. It's hard to find your way around, and it's a slow grind for the first month or two because there's not actually much happening in game either.
Yeah.
And it's very easy just to play. There's a good reason why people that sign up can't play one day and never come back. It's at least 80% of new players just play for one day.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, this is boring, out.
Go regardless, I guess, but because they just tire kicking or whatever. But you're right, Sty, the game is a bit more inviting and easier to learn. And now, a lot of games you can actually do a fair bit on the first day, and you rummage around and you do this and you do that. And if they've got things that are based on cooldowns, they're very quick at the start. Build something and then you got to wait for it to finish, and then you build something else. And on your first day, all those things happen pretty quickly. But in this game,
it's a slow boil.
There's just not much happens in those first few days. It's actually worse than once you get going, it actually gets a bit easier. So that's why I quite like the idea of the missions. Gives you a bit of, you can have a look around, and there's a decent wiki would be nice as well.
The missions should be heavily featured, I think. Because right now it's like underneath, like almost at the bottom, right above that little tiny ad that just recently popped up. It's like, once again, I understand it's early stages. It says like your missions. It's just, there's nothing there to tell me that this is kind of like important. Like.
Yeah, well, that's probably true. Yeah.
Like, I don't want it to be kind of like pop-up, give me all these pop-ups and say like, do your missions, but it's just kind of like, almost like an afterthought, like yeah, we'll just put it at the bottom.
Yeah. It's interesting, I think in stuff they used to put a pane right at the top, across the top, like things, whatever they were.
Yeah.
Weekly damage competitions and that. Can't remember what they're called now.
Yeah, exactly. And you log on, and it's like right there, and you're like, okay, I see it. It looks important, looks fun. You click on it, and you get into it. Whereas this is kind of like, yeah.
Remember, this is the first thing they like. I'm sure there's going to be changes and add-ons and all this other stuff. So it's not.
They'll almost move it, and putting it right at the top of the homepage is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Put it properly.
Yeah. Once again, Tim, I completely understand that. It's three guys. They got their own lives and stuff. I can see like the design itself is kind of it's you know, it's functional.
Yeah. Like I mean, the thing is that what usually happens is someone will point something out and they'll go, oh yeah, that's a good point, and then they'll change it and it'll be done and it'll be, you know, like that. That's pretty much how it goes with this sort of thing.
Mm. The other thing that happened in this last round is, you know, the drop down for your organisations and the army and that.
Yeah.
Has gone below that on the left. So, and it looks like it's disappeared. And you can scroll down and you can get to it, but it's kind of dropped down. That they're on the front page, you know, you shouldn't have to scroll to get to it. So anyway, I mean, they've already acknowledged and they're going to fix that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that was.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have these sort of discussions, and then like the thing is that maybe they'll listen to it and they'll be like, "Hey, good point." Like, because the admins have listened to our streams before, so.
Yeah, well, I know they were talking about that one with the drop down, and they're going to move that on the next update, which, you know, probably be within a day or so. That you know, that's very positive, if you like, that they'll listen to those issues and make the changes required reasonably prompt. Just, you know, compare that to rep when suggestion in, and unless you were a gold buyer, you didn't even get an answer.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 months later, what was it? You know, decided not to follow this, or decided it was not worthy or something. Unbelievable.
But they,
you know, what
they have the UI. They have it down pat. Like that works for me. The UI.
Is a yeah, but they, you know, when you put in a ticket, they used to give you all these stupid responses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know, we've looked at it, and if you still think it's an issue, log another ticket. You know, there was just, you know, virtually no response to users.
Yeah, I mean, the reality was that they just sort of, that was just there so people weren't annoying, like getting very upset that they didn't have any community response. They didn't give a shit about actually responding to people.
They knew exactly what the people wanted, but they were like, we're gonna do our own thing.
Yeah.
Remember when everybody was like, dude, what the fuck is up with the economy? Like, it's fucking shit. And they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they didn't care about the economy working well. They cared about how much money they'd make from the economy.
Exactly, but the people were saying, dude, like, it's ruining my game because I'm trying to, you know, focus on business side of things. It's the way I play my game. And they're like, well, you can get fucked.
Yeah.
Nothing constructive. Well, and it's because they had how many people buying gold? Probably not very many, but
the thing is that they had this weird goal that they thought that it would increase player numbers to do all these, like, make the game more active, so to say. But what it did was it pissed off the 500,000 people that played the game because they liked it the way it was.
Yeah.
And then
Venture was one of those.
Yeah.
We had many conversations where Ben was like, companies, it's just fucking dumb to have them unless you, like, you know, making it for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, work change was the single worst thing they did.
I'm almost gonna say that the gold limiter thing was even worse.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The unlimited, and they way back they changed the wellness packs as well, mate.
Yeah.
Unlimited, because they used to be, you know, however many it was. But yeah, by making them unlimited and fairly cheap as well, cheaper. Manager work was actually the kind of structural change to the economy that really destroyed it.
Yeah.
because basically people were just buying more and more companies and selling, and they were selling effectively below cost. But you know, people were doing it for cash flow, thinking they were improving themselves.
Mm.
And then the other stupid thing they did is they had on the stock there at one stage. I don't know if he still is, but all the surplus they would just start buying it themselves.
Oh yeah, the admin buying, yeah.
Yeah, I think they stopped that after a while, but it's just like it's really going to help as well.
Because they realised they made, by everyone working and having a lot of companies, they made massive oversupply.
Yeah, and then they destroyed the currency markets by buying all that stock. The I can't remember what the rates were, but the gold conversion got really, you know, the currencies were
Yeah, they were, yeah.
these queues of people making bids trying to unload the currency.
And the thing was that like every currency was worth pretty much the same because of that, the bot buying.
Yeah, it was
So there was no exchange rates and all that sort of stuff. It was just, and also killed government from being able to make money that way as well.
That's right. The currency rates I happened, and I remember telling someone it'll never go that low. It'll never go beyond the printing rate, which was 200 to 1.
Yeah.
You can always print cheaper, so why would they trade lower? But because they just flooded the markets with currency, it did go lower.
Yeah, and plus the fact that the game gave you money just randomly in missions and stuff, so that screwed the economy over as well.
Yeah. It got to the point where, you know, you could print currency, but you couldn't actually sell the currency. So.
Yeah. Yeah, then no one printed anymore, did they?
That's right.
The game stopped printing money, basically. No one would ever print money.
So, yeah, really, the currency markets were just completely...
Remember, iron was like 6 cents, some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it got up to like 0.1, you were like, ooh, profit. Man, that game really fucked itself over.
Oh, it was ridiculous, really.
Yeah, you're like, alright, I'm just gonna buy my own, you know, food, make my own food, make my own weapons. Yeah, I don't need to buy anything.
Yeah.
You basically, there was no reason for you to be buying stuff from other people. Because you couldn't make a profit off
Yeah,
it.
it was
Everything
a one-man
was the
economy.
same. Yeah, that's it. You were just like, yep, I'm set up. Yep, nothing. I did not look at the market tab when I had my companies.
Own surplus. You know, all those people were just pumping out the food and the, you know, low quality weapons, just absolutely flooding the markets, and no one wanted to buy them.
Yeah, no one would buy anything other than a Q7, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. It just wasn't worth using less than a Q7 because they were pretty cheap.
Yeah.
In Q1s, I mean, selling for 20 cents or whatever, and market, no one wanted them.
Yeah, I remember looking at the game and I'm like, okay, there must be a way to sort of make money.
Oh, they made it so it's impossible to make a profit. The only way to is make it
to Venge, and I'm like, what about investing in sort of weapons from other countries, selling it? Venge is like, nah. Like you'll just get the same as you would selling in Australia. Like it was like a one economy. Like there was no difference, no matter where you bought from or sold. Everything was just kind of stale.
Attention to anything really. It was just, you know.
I mean, it's giving the game a lot of credit to call it an economy. Let's be honest here.
Pointless.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. You know, by that point, an economy in the normal sense, it was just, you know, real meaning.
But hold on, they would have introduced the manager work because was there a shortage of stock? Like not enough labour to fill in the vacancies?
I can't remember when, but the idea was to try, yeah, for new players to catch up. That was the original idea.
Yeah.
And
Except, like, I think they marketed it that way, let's be honest here.
but they,
I think they knew from the get-go that it was going to be a gold spree buying.
But again, they just made it open-ended, and actually it benefited experienced players a lot more than new players.
Yeah.
Because they jumped straight through to the maximum, you know, Q7 weapons or whatever.
Mm.
And once you start pumping out Q7s, as many as you like, because you know, like, just make 10 Q7 companies,
Yeah.
and start pumping them out. And before you know it, that every other weapon is useless.
Yeah.
So the new players that were sitting there trying to, you know, run their 1 or 2 Q1 weapons companies were just completely screwed.
But wait, didn't they then say, okay, to make Q5 you need like 20 Q1s? Oh wait,
Well, remember the rule, but their productivity formula was effectively skewed towards the higher quality.
Mm.
I can't remember that.
but I am right though, you needed a number of Q1, Q2 and Q3 to make Q5s, right?
No, you had a company that made Q5s off the bat.
Oh shit, I must have...
And Q7s and all that type of stuff.
There were other things you could make though. There were rockets and things that you could make out of the lower Q.
Oh, that's right. That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Try and use up all those low quality ones.
Well, they probably should have done that with a Q5 weapon, shouldn't they? Oh no, it would have been the same because you could just make a new company.
There are some things you need to want, you know, a certain number of each quality, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
You know, in a sense, that kind of works, but
It was just retarded the way they sort of decided to change everything so dramatically.
you know, really it was that manager work. If they'd kept the manager work, it might not have been too bad, but work and just allowing people to buy as many companies as they like.
Mm.
Basically, you know, the ones that could afford it went straight to Q7, pumping out a lot of them. Everything else below that became pretty worthless. And it just gradually worked its way through. Like originally it was just Q1, they're worthless, people would still buy Q2. Then eventually enough people were making them so that got flooded and they were worthless and worked its way up.
Yeah.
And you know, like I think the Q5, Q6s were okay but not great. You know, people would still buy them and there was not enough using them unlimited kind of thing.
They could have fixed it though.
They could have, but they didn't want to because it made them money.
But
The system
they could have gotten both, but instead they opted for the money and lost the pop.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the game was still profitable that they had originally. The V1 system was profitable. They actually just wanted to be quicker at building a larger company. They took the easy route out instead of building the business up the way you're supposed to do it. The game was growing and the profits were growing. They just wanted to do it quicker than what was happening already. So they cut corners and did shitty things to try and increase profits, and it's fucked them over, and now they basically don't make any money.
But they could have done both. They could have seriously had a decent growth in basically starting companies.
If they've thought about the sustainability of what they're doing, they might have made better choices.
Yeah, because if you made it that you can only work, for example, in one company as a manager, but you needed the rest of the queues to make that premium product, whichever it is, Q4, Q5, that would have helped a lot, wouldn't it?
Oh, of course, but they don't think about that sort of thing. They only were thinking about, oh, this person will buy hundreds and hundreds of gold to build a Q7 company, and that'll make us money. The end. That was the line of thinking.
Pretty much. No, that's one person. The other 1,000 people don't want to buy gold. Just, you know,
Fuck them. Fuck them. Basically, yeah.
So, yeah, they pretty small number. Like probably less than 100 people were buying gold. basically whatever they wanted, that's where the game went. Everyone else, too bad.
And the thing is that at some point they figured out that killing multi-accounts wasn't actually worth it, because what they would do is it would force players to fight more, so they would pay gold to fight the multis, so they made money off multis as well, so they stopped multi-hunting.
Yeah.
God, that game had a serious infestation of multis.
But, you know, once you buy unlimited gold, you know, some people are spending ridiculous amounts. You know, they were taking on whole countries, multis or otherwise.
Yeah,
They're just doing, you know, because there's no limit to damage, basically. It's just how much gold you've got. And coming on and doing ridiculous amounts of damage.
So yeah, I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing. They were like, just keep buying the gold.
As long as their pocketbooks were full, they didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But the thing was,
all those promises, well, not really promises, but they were talking. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a mobile app and all this shit. Yeah, right.
no.
To be honest, it lasted a lot longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, they did. I was like, because there was a massive drop from when they decided they made these changes. A good chunk of the player base was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
But then there was all the diehard people were like, but maybe when it's finished, when they finished doing the change, they like naively believed that admin actually gave a fuck.
Yeah. And I guess I did for a while. Though.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, and then eventually I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
This is crap, and they'll.
And the thing is, I bought a full pack of gold once, and it didn't even get me close to a Q7 weapon company, and I'm like, well, why the fuck would I pay money to... I have to pay like 5 packs of gold to get up to this thing.
Yeah.
So it became... You have to waste a lot of money to get this thing. So it's... And some people have got like 10 of them. What the fuck? How much money are these people paying? And then like... That actually made me more likely to quit buying gold, because I realised that buying gold once doesn't solve your problems.
That's right. I mean, to be competitive, you got to buy a lot and buy it regularly.
Yeah.
Now you got to keep buying.
So I'm like, okay,
Remember
the end.
when you go onto their profile page, when they still had when they showed all the land, so you can see how many factories and shit they have.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
And you go on like Romper's one, and it's got like 30 Q7 factories, like 60 iron.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow.
Yep, that was insane.
Yeah, what hope have you got going on?
How many did you have, Benja? Or do you still log on?
Yes, I'm logged on at the minute. I'm just trying to work out what I have got. I think I had about 4. And not that many is because I actually had quite a lot of conventional companies back in V1.
Yeah, so you converted over and you were pretty lucky.
There was some conversion process, and you were able to sell ones that were redundant gold.
Yeah.
So I know I had Q5 raws, quite a few of them. And you could sell them, I think, and trade them into Q7 weapons. So
yeah, there was some process.
But I can't even work out the screen now. I've got all this assigned to holding company stuff, which I don't really know what that does.
But anyway, guys, I think it is time to end this radio.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How often does the vRadio happen?
Basically when I feel like it. So last was a couple of weeks ago, I think. So.
This is only the second one, isn't it?
Yeah. So.
Oh wow.
So yeah, every couple of weeks I would decide to do it, or I was going to do it more regularly, but then Callum was busy, so. So
yeah,
that's.
I'd say it's I like it. I like it, sort of like state of the game kind of thing.
Yeah, we basically just have a chat and everyone listens to how things are going, and if someone wants to pop in and have a chat as well, they can pretty much.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. So it's very much kind of like if I show up and you guys are doing it, it's on kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I don't like. I haven't in the past planned it in advance. I mean, I could at some point decide like on this date I'm going to do it or whatever. But at the moment, at least, it's been fairly just hey, I'm going to do it. If you're online, then you get to catch it or whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah, not a bad thing to have, you know, a weekly time slot.
Yeah, that's true. But I've been a bit slack on that sense.
Yeah, just don't get Callum heated up, or he's gonna probably make it an entire organization.
Yeah.
Where you like have to like write a report after you do it or something.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, thanks for coming on to have a chat with me.
Thank
guys.
you.
Alrighty.
Okay. See you guys.
Good night.